Florida State began this calendar year playing in college football showcase game a third straight season. But no dreams of a national crown went up in flames. Rarely now has Bobby Bowden faced so many questions that needed to be answered.
I thought they did well. I thought they both showed that we can build off of them, that they can do it. You know, we just got a lot to learn.
In the grueling heat of a Tallahassee summer, the Noles steeled character.
Oh, the initial impression is that the reason this program has been so successful is first and foremost the coaches are great people, great coaches, and they do an incredible job recruiting outstanding talent. We've had a great summer. They've done a great job. We really placed a lot of effort and emphasis on improving our lower body power, our lower body strength and explosiveness, and we've made a lot of progress in that area. Tested very well. It's exciting to test them and to see their numbers on paper, and I think it's going to be even more exciting to see them out on the field.
And the caretakers of college football's longest enduring dynasty, Letterman-driven men, arrive now and turn the page for opening night, Florida State and Duke. It's a warm and muggy night tonight here at historic Wallace Wade Stadium. The lights are on. It has rained throughout the day, but the fans still turn out. Tonight, Atlantic Coast Conference football, a Seminole season renewed. Florida State and the Blue Devils of Duke. Bobby Bowden on Tobacco Road. Welcome on Sunshine Network. Paul Kennedy alongside Keith Jones. I think this is right. Your 16th year of Seminole football on Sunshine?
Yeah, but who's counting? I only started when I was 12.
You're good to go, and you would have a great perspective on this Seminole run now as they embark upon a quest to win their 10th consecutive ACC crown. Florida State, of course, has played in college football's championship game in each of the last 3 years.
Well, and they finished the season ranked in the top 5 for 14 straight. And as you see there, they've got a new run going, Paul, and people are starting to talk about this. 5 straight seasons of 11 wins or more, and then, of course, those 197 rankings. It's a very exciting time for Florida State football, the dynasty continuing.
This is for Bobby Bowden, his 26th year as Florida State's head coach, but a first tonight. It's the first time he'll start a freshman at quarterback.
26th season at Florida State, 36th season overall. He's never started a freshman at quarterback. There you see Chris Ricks, a great arm, 6'3", a little over 200 pounds, great mobility, great character, great confidence, Paul. In fact, you'll see right there the number he wears. Chris Winke's number. Last year, he said when Chris Winke left, he wanted that number. If he got the opportunity to start, that would even be better.
Looks good in that number. Florida State also with a new offensive coordinator in Jeff Bowden. So I would think for Jeff, as he assumes this mantle, and for Chris, you try to win with execution more than a complex scheme.
They really do. And we were visiting with Jeff last night. He said that the game plan, Paul, was quarterback friendly. They're not going to ask Chris to do anything he's not capable of doing. In that, they're going to keep it simple in his first start, try to grind it out, see a little bit more of the running game. Keep it simple, quarterback friendly.
Friendly. Now, that word would not describe Florida State defensively. And you can win games early with an inexperienced quarterback on the defensive side of the ball, especially when you have a linebacker the caliber of Bradley Jennings manning the middle.
It really is. And anytime you talk to the Florida State players and they're in practice and they hear a great hit or a great lick out there, they know it's Bradley, a.k.a. Monster. You see the face shield. He's got that brace in the back. It's got an arrow on it. When he turns around during the game, you'll see it. It's pointed upward. He's the quarterback on the defensive side. Great ball player. One of only 3 returning starters tonight, which we'll talk about a little later.
Florida State pointed toward another ACC season. Of course, its record 70-2 since joining the Atlantic Coast Conference. Duke's record a year ago, 0-11. So how can running back Chris Douglas and the Blue Devils change that starting tonight?
Well, the biggest thing they can do is just work on the things that work for them. And what that is getting the ball into Chris Douglas's hands, whether it be kickoff returns, whether it be catching the ball out of the backfield, or this season as a sophomore starting at tailback. You see his numbers. He led all freshmen last year in the country in all-purpose yardage. And Coach Franks told us during the week, all they want to do is get the ball in his hands as many times as they can.
Duke and Florida State, a new season, but one, unfortunately, that will, for Florida State, carry the memory of a tragic loss. To the sideline, and with more, here's Tom Block.
Thank you very much, Paul. Good evening to you and Keith, and it's nice to be back for another year of Florida State football here on Sunshine. Paul, you mentioned it has been a long, trying off-season for Florida State. We go back to February, late February during mat drills, when, of course, Devon Darling, a freshman linebacker, passed away, and it has been a long season since then. It hit the Florida State team very hard. He was penciled in to be a starting linebacker for FSU heading into this year. Instead, he, of course, is gone. His twin brother is now transferred and is hoping to play football at Washington State. It will be Michael Boulware that gets the start in that linebacker spot, and Florida State's football team, just as all the other athletic teams have done, are honoring Devon with the 53 emblem. It's on the back of the helmets this year and also on the left sleeve of the football jersey. Florida State football 2001 goes on without Devon Darling.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength, becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 Health Club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
Y'all ready?
Well, hello there, little Seminole fans. Ooh, I'm glad to see you have your FSU license tag. And where is yours? The real FSU tag will be on sale right here outside the stadium before our first home game on September the 8th. The Department of Motor Vehicles will be on hand to take your order. And it's Youth Day, so pick up a free mini tag for the kids. Show your Seminole pride. Brag with the tag.
Order a milkshake as a token of your own appreciation.
Well, you've completed your grill training, so I'm proud to make you one of us. Does that mean I'm ready to make hamburgers?
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Beancock.
Florida State football on Sunshine is brought to you by Radisson Hotel Tallahassee. When visiting the home of the Seminoles, stay at the Radisson Hotel Tallahassee. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. On the famous chapel, Gothic in design here on the campus of Duke University. The flowers still in bloom. The picturesque campus. And a national contender each and every year. Here comes Florida State. First time since 1997. They've played here in Wallace Wade Stadium. Seminoles, of course, led by Coach Bobby Bowden in quest tonight of his 316th career win. Here's Bobby Bowden on Facing Duke.
Well, the one thing Duke has that we don't is experience. They're more an experienced football team. They've got probably 16 or 18 starters back. We've lost about that many, you know. So it's going to be a good ball game. It's going to be, judging by the games this past weekend, it's going to be a struggle no matter what. That's what I'm seeing. The underdogs are just staying nip and tuck with the favorites. And, of course, that's because you've had all spring and all fall to put in new stuff and do something different that confuses the other team. And I expect we'll see some of it ourselves.
A quintessential favorite. His team once again ranked 5th in the nation as he squares off against the Duke Blue Devils, who are certainly a prototype underdog. winless a year ago, 0-11, 3 wins in all for Carl Franks now, and this is his 3rd season. But he says there's no time like the present to face Florida State.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to play them. They don't know exactly what we're going to do. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. Both teams have to fill each other a little bit out at the beginning. They've had to replace some outstanding players. Now, they certainly replace them with other guys that are pretty good. They've done that for a long period of time. That's why they haven't lost many games. But I don't see any negatives when we're playing them. It's a great opportunity for our guys. They know that it would certainly be a memory of a lifetime. People all over the country would be talking about it. It's a funny shaped ball. You know, if things hit just right, we'll have an opportunity.
They've certainly bounced against him. His club has dropped 12 in a row. That is, unfortunately for Duke, the nation's longest losing streak. Last-minute instructions for Dee Bryant, his quarterback, as Duke has won the toss and elected to receive tonight to be on offense first.
Of course, Coach Franks wanting to get the ball quickly into Dee Bryant's hand. A freshman last year, saw a lot of playing time. Sophomore starter now, and as we said at the top of the show, utilizing Chris Douglas, they'll get the opportunity to move first.
To kick off for Florida State, introductions in order. A transfer from the Air Force Academy. This is Jesse Stein, by way of St. Petersburg, Florida. He takes over, and tonight exclusively, he'll be handling kickoff chores. The tandem to receive his kick, that is Chris Douglas, the running back we talked about earlier. He is joined by Kyle Moore alongside. Moore led the ACC, fielding kickoffs last year. Douglas from his one. Tripped up at the 11-yard line. Good special teams tackle to get us underway. Heads up by Patrick Newton, a junior from St. Pete. And here is Duke University on offense for the first time. Quarterback by the Detroit native in D, that is the letter D, Bryant, who is maturing, making tremendous strides. They look for great things from him this year.
Had some difficulty as a sophomore, wasn't able to really grasp most of the offense. Did start the latter half as a sophomore. Now as a junior, he is the starter, and they're looking for great things from him.
We'll set the other starters on both sides of the ball for you in just a moment. Mike Hart, the tight end, in motion and on first down. Here is Chris Douglas. Last year, Douglas, as a freshman, Keith, led all first-year players nationally in all-purpose yardage. He was Duke's leading rusher.
And one of the great things about Douglas, as you see Bradley Jennings there, is he's put on a little weight. One of the things Coach Franks was mentioning about Chris is that he was about 170 pounds last year. He couldn't use him as much as he wanted because he was too light.
Fumbled football on the exchange with his center in Sean Lynch. And it is Bryant back on top of it. His center is a Florida native in Sean Lynch. He wears number 79. Here is Douglas along with Kyle Moore, Ben Erdeljak, the other wide receiver, Love and the tight end in Hart, and up front, Drew Stroney, Darrell Lewis, Sean Lynch from West Palm Beach, Florida, Rusty Wilson, and John Miller, number 77, maybe their best offensive lineman. He lines up to the right of that formation. Third down. On the draw, Douglas. The daylight, but not quite enough. A yard and a half shy of the first down. Down he goes just outside his 20-yard line. The tackle by Abdul Howard in on that play. And the punting unit will come on. Here quickly, Florida State up front, a three-man look. And Jackson, Darnell Dockett, Johnson, and Howard. It's Travis Johnson, Hope, Monster, Michael Boulware, and two fresh corners. Malcolm Tatum, Stanford Samuel start for the first time. Their careers, Chris Hope, Abdul Howard. This is a fake and a first down for Duke. Oh, pardon me, check that on the punt. The flag down on the fielded kick out to the 37-yard line. That's a punt of 51 yards. My mistake. Kenneth Stanford on the stop there of Nick Maddox. And Stanford. So now Florida State on offense.
They're going to wave the flag off, Paul. They pick it up. What a great punt by Trey McDonald. Of course, you remember for Duke last year, Brian Morton, who was an All-American at punter, they were worried about the punting game. First punt out of the chute, McDonald's has made it happen.
So the quarterback now, Chris Ricks, under center from Santa Margarita, California, as Florida State traditionally does. It goes without a huddle. Start this game. First down. And here comes the North Carolina native in Maddox, who rips them for 8, if not 9. So, Ricks, in his frame of mind, how does he approach this as a freshman, his first career start?
You know, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be exciting. You know, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know my role. I don't have to do too much or be an All-American my first game, so I'm just going to go out there and have fun and, you know, do what I've been coached to do and, you know, what my job is. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a day to remember forever.
Yeah, the first freshman ever, although a redshirt freshman, that Bobby Bowden has tabbed to be his opening day starting quarterback.
A little confusion there on the line. Antoine Mirabeau is going to have to come out probably for an equipment change, and Florida State will have to take a timeout.
Now that's Josh Baggs, who comes in number 67. That'll give us an opportunity to set the starting lineups. Tonight we expect great things from Nick Maddox. It is for Nick, a native of Kannapolis, North Carolina, his first career start. William McCray will wear 15 this season. Atruz Bell, Javon Walker, and the tight end Carver Donaldson. Up front, Brett Williams, a consensus preseason All-American. Milford Brown, the junior college transfer. Baggs in at the moment for Marambo, Montre Holland, and Todd Williams. 3 years as starter on the tight tackle, split tackle and tight tackle side for Florida State. Baggs leads them out over the football. So we settle in, first series for Florida State, and we expect to see this. The 2 tight ends, Keith, the I formation, and 1 wide receiver in Javon Walker.
Well, we thought we would see a lot more of the 2 tight formation. Florida State leaning more towards the running game. We'll also see offset with the fullback and a little motion for the fullback as the game progresses, we suspect.
So Ricks on second down. Close to the first for Nick Maddox. Back home again, North Carolina. Here is for Duke on that stop by Jim Shar, their freshman linebacker. Tyron Grissom, Jeff Lonergan, Charles Porter, the 3 men up front. 4 linebackers, Nate Krill, Jamian Small, Jim Shar, Ryan Fowler from Reddington Shores, Florida. Hamilton and Stanford on the corners. Kreider and Terrell Smith, the safeties. That is a first down for FSU. No score underway tonight. Wallace Wade Stadium. Stanford a third time, or Maddox rather, a third time. You know, for 3 years now, or into his 3rd year, he had to wait behind Travis Minor for an opportunity to play. How fitting it is he comes home to Carolina to get his first start.
He was becoming a very popular kid this week with the rest of the football players because he needed about 50 tickets, Paul, for all his relatives. Nick, who had just 7 rushes last year, played most of the year, 2000 year at the receiver position, now getting his opportunity to start. And there we see our first offset on the fullback's part.
Offset in the eye with McCray to leap away, and a big hit in the hole. Jamian Small, the inside linebacker, playing tonight with a cast on his hand. He filled it up pretty good, number 24.
6'1", 228-pound junior, had 50 tackles during the 2000 campaign. You see that big padding there on the right-hand side. Offset, fullback goes outside. Nick tries to cut it back inside, and Small is completely unblocked, does a good job of hitting in the hole right at the point of attack.
Well, we've seen a number of snaps and a first down for Florida State. This is an obvious passing situation. Does Chris Ricks now complete his first pass? Starting quarterback.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity for him to get the chance.
They show blitz, does Duke. Flags fly, and Florida State took too much time to snap the ball. It will cost them 5 yards. That's our official, Joe Ryder. Marches Florida State back 5.
And right before that snap, as the whistle was blowing, you saw Josh Kreider moving up on the right-hand side of the defense, Paul, to blitz. And that's one of the things in passing situations, is to see Jeff there, that the staff was most concerned about was the blitz packages that Duke would bring at this young freshman quarterback.
I set once again. 4 carries already for Maddox, but Florida State now needs 14 yards. Throw the hitch. Walker holds on, not nearly enough for the first down. Across midfield at the Duke 47. And so Florida State will have to punt.
Walker was talking with Chris there. It looked like there was a little bit of a mix-up. Ricks checked off to a quick pass, and I think Javon wanted to take it a little farther down the field, thought he could get open, get by the corner. Those will be the types of things that the communication, the learning to read each other, that will come in time as you see them discussing it there.
Billy Sexton, the running backs coach, just now putting his headset back on. A high snap. Chance Gwaltney puts his foot into it. Short punt, bounds at the 16 and is fielded by Ronnie Hamilton. But he steps out of bounds at the 18-yard line. From that point, Duke in business when we return to Durham.
The 18th annual Run for Life road races at Life University are back with the best courses for the entire family.
Life is a family affair, and that's one reason we've started to Run for Life.
I think it's great. I think it teaches them self-confidence, and she loves it.
Improve your times while experiencing historic Marietta. Check out the variety of races online and celebrate with us at the best after-race party in town.
Well organized, great race to run.
Register now, and we'll see you at the finish line.
Hi, I'm Charlie Ergen for Dish Network. You'll soon be seeing something new here on Dish Network. Dish Network FYI. It's just that. Information about Dish Network, news about our great new programming, customer service, and our latest technology. You've made a great choice in Dish Network. We want to keep you up to date on the latest information. So look for this logo and listen to this tone. Dish Network FYI. Information about us just for you.
Lawlessness of state officials rises to the level of a constitutional issue.
You will not be harmed. The only way the truth is going to get out is when I tell it.
Alan Alda, The Killing Yard. This month only on Showtime. Showtime Unlimited. 10 channels for $10.99. Go to DishNetwork.com now.
To the Florida State Seminoles. And first in Florida sports. Sunshine Network.
Back to action, and Chris Douglas on first down. Pops it for 7 into the arms of the all-ACC free safety in Chris Hope. Douglas at 5'10", 181 pounds, from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. And Duke played so many freshmen last year, 23 in all, and he was an important part of this rebuilding program in his first year. Play action to him for Dee Bryant. Tucks it and runs. Dragged down from behind by Alonzo Jackson, but not before Duke has the first down. He is athletic, is Bryant. Physical size and some quickness, too.
Good thing that Alonzo Jackson at 6'4", 255 pounds is also athletic, Paul, because had Dee gotten around that corner, I'm not sure anyone would have caught him. They'll try to use his athleticism as much as possible, though Coach Franks was telling us he throws very well, very strong arm, throws what he describes as a beautiful football, just doesn't have quite the continuity up front to protect him.
Tight end Brzezinski in motion as a lead blocker. Douglas lowers his head into the teeth of that Florida State defense. Bradley Jennings a part of that for Florida State, which has so many players to replace this year. Only 3 starters return for defensive coordinator Mickey Andrews that are in uniform tonight. That includes Jennings, along with the defensive tackle and Darnell Dockett, just a sophomore, and Chris Hope, as mentioned, an all-conference selection in the secondary.
And you wonder about the 3. There would be 4. Jeff Womble serving a 1-game suspension. How in the world could they be so highly thought of? It's because of the talent.
Bryant, the short drop. Complete to Erdeljak and the first down. Down to the 44-yard line in front of Malcolm Tatum, the cornerback. His first completion to Erdeljak, the senior, the 5th-year senior, and their leading receiver a year ago. And Mickey Andrews has his game face on opening night.
Has Mickey ever set foot on a football field, practice play or otherwise, that he hasn't? Nice little step drop here and a little look in. A lot of cushion out on the outside by Malcolm Tatum, getting his first chance to start in this Florida State secretary. And Duke on the move.
And driving the ball, although stood up this time, is Douglas. Up front, A couple of seniors in Lynch and Miller for them. And how good are the other three in Wilson, Lewis, and Stroney in terms of Duke being able to compete along the offensive front and make first downs against what is annually one of America's top 10 defenses.
Well, the first thing they had to do, they get a little stronger. And of course, they moved John Miller from a guard position out the outside. That gives Wilson on the right side a chance to start at guard. And they're only 7 deep, Paul. They only have 7 offensive linemen that'll play tonight, they tell us.
Gap on the left side. Not only is Douglas the focal point, he's nearly been exclusively what Duke's game plan represents this evening. Chris Hope there from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock seemed pretty good.
A lot of people really counting on number 28, Chris Hope, to have an all-star season. You see him step in the hole right there from his free safety position. Had 83 tackles last season, 4th on the team. Academic All-American as a junior, the thing which I'm most proud of, and not a bad number to wear, I don't think.
It's because you wore it. George Bowden and Bryant out of time. Down he goes. A flag is thrown in late after Travis Johnson got him around the ankles to drop him, number 99.
We'll sort out the penalty. Johnson at 6'5", 282, the freshman getting the start with Womble being out. Penalty and preliminary signal against Duke. Florida State most likely will decline. That'll erase the yardage. They'll take the play.
And again, Joe Ryder, the referee tonight.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
To force the punt here will come the kicking unit on. We are better than midway through our first quarter of play, and say this for Duke. The offense held onto the ball a significant amount of time. There appears to be some confusion here. Look at this spread formation.
Spread formation. Just to create a little bit of anxiousness on the Florida State side. They covered it well. Good coaching by the Florida State defensive staff.
Trey McDonald, who takes over for the All-American Brian Morton, who has graduated. His second punting effort, his very first varsity kick went 51 yards. And we may have interference, too, within the halo of 2 yards on Nick Maddox. Just a 30-yard pooch effort here that will be further diluted when Florida State has this marched in their favor. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, saying that, well, wait a minute, he didn't.
Interference with the fair catch. 2-yard belt violation. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Mickey Andrews telling us last night, it's not as if he disliked season openers. Well, he does dislike season openers.
He just doesn't like them.
It's all the uncertainty that surrounds. And you can see here, they're feeling each other out in the early going. Nobody's really comfortable with each other at the moment.
Florida State last year opened up with 14 straight running plays. They open up this year with 4 or 5 on the ground.
2 tight ends once again. Early last year. Tipped at the line of scrimmage. Batted down incomplete. Charles Porter, number 52, the senior, in his 32nd game, number 52 for Duke. I think he got his right hand on the ball to deflect it.
I think I said 14 straight running plays. Of course, I meant 14 straight pass plays Florida State opened up with last year. Again, we see him, Chris Ricks going to the right side, and just good effort getting up in the air by number 52, Porter. That's what you ask your defensive linemen to do on that 3-step drop. They're most likely not going to get to the quarterback, so you got to get in those lanes, get those hands up. Very successfully done that time by Porter.
Porter from Columbia, Maryland, just north of Washington, D.C. Ricks to Maddox. Run down, smack down again. This is Charles Porter a second time on Maddox. They call that the zone play, Keith. Was he looking for daylight on that sweep?
All the offensive linemen and that particular player reaching to their right. Watch them move to their right. They're just trying to find people. They get a hat on somebody, and then Nick has the opportunity to find a crack. That time just too much penetration by the Blue Devil defense. Nowhere to go.
Now Florida State facing 3rd and 10 for Chris Ricks tonight. 1 completion so far, that of 9 yards. The short drop. Under duress, throws, broken up. Off the hands of A. Truesbell. Ronnie Hamilton reached in to pat it away, and Florida State is 3 and out.
Another look at it coming right at you to the right-hand side. Three-step drop. This time he hesitates just a little, gets the ball downfield. Atrus gets his hands on the ball, but Ronnie Hamilton, number 11, comes up and strips it. The senior, 5'8", 181-pound corner. He's the most experienced of the secondary.
Call a year ago, he broke a punt return 84 yards for a touchdown in Doak Campbell Stadium. Gwaltney gets this beautiful punt away that turns over, drives it back to the 15. Here is Hamilton. Nowhere to go. Hustling on special teams. Brian McFadden to drag him down. That was a 51-yard effort by the junior in Gwaltney. Duke owns the football at its 21. No score, first quarter.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
So you say you're the football expert at your office? Well, prove it. Log on to SunshineNetwork.com and make your picks in the Recreational Factory Warehouse Football Pool. You can play by yourself or form a league with friends and coworkers. Test your knowledge against Sunshine Network talent such as Pat Clark and Barry Milligan. Make the right picks and you can win great weekly prizes. Be the best at the end of the season and win a spa or pool table from Recreational Factory Warehouse. So log on today at SunshineNetwork.com.
Wallace Wade Stadium, construction in the distance. New football center being built here. Duke trying to rebuild its program, literally and figuratively, and hanging with heavily favored Florida State. Although a large contingent of Seminoles have made the trip to rainy and wet Durham.
Really have. As you mentioned in the open, as you see the crane there building the new complex, 70,000 square feet. The new Duke Fieldhouse, coach's office, and support staff. Number of Florida State fans here. They like coming up to Durham in early September.
D. Bryant hunting his second completion. Douglas running free with speed. He's gone. Duke leads. And Carl Franks is smiling early in Durham. To the running back and Chris Douglas. The 60-meter track star. Look at this track speed after he gets behind the linebackers.
Busted coverage, not sure who's supposed to be there, whether it's Jarrell or whether it's Abdul, but as we mentioned all along, Duke's offensive strategy was to get the ball in his hands as often as possible. Had a 44-yard, as you see the missed point after attempt. Had a 44-yard touchdown run in Tallahassee last year, adds a 78-yard touchdown reception in 2001.
A huge play, obviously, for Duke. The missed extra point by Brent Garber sailed wide right. But with less than 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter, Duke has struck with a shocking score.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, it's just an N in the logo.
Cute? You don't know about the N?
What?
You seriously don't know, do you?
Tell me. Come on, tell me.
Rarely seen, many people don't believe these exist. But they do. At our place.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Will somebody just tell me about the N?
When you call Compact Direct, you'll get a PC built exactly the way you want it. Like the Compact Presario 5000T, starting at just $839. Choose a fast Intel Pentium 3 processor, hard drive, memory, monitor, options like a CDRW drive, and even your choice of colors. Call 1-800-276-2360 today and get a free compact printer and $50 instant rebate.
Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, Gainesville, Tallahassee, Tampa.
Your town, your team.
And every weeknight, Sunshine Network and Nextel bring you your sports news. Barry Milligan and Tom Block anchor a lineup of reporters from around the state for all the highlights, sound bites, interviews, and discussion.
Sports news that matters most.
Nextel, Florida Sports News, tomorrow night at 10 on Sunshine Network.
6-0 Duke. A 78-yard catch and run by Chris Douglas. That surpasses the longest scoring play a year ago on a pass completion for Duke. The longest previous completion a year ago for Dee Bryant was 67 yards. Took about one play off play action. He goes upstairs. Douglas is gone.
Here's another look at it. You see Douglas is the lone back. He's going to sneak out of there, and somebody didn't pick him up. You see both Abdul Howard as well as Jarrell chasing him. Tatum can't get over to catch him. He has great speed in the open field. And again, Duke executing what Coach Franks told us in the middle part of the week was going to be their game plan. Get the ball in Chris's hands as much as they could.
Well, talk is cheap. It's performance that counts. That shoots certainly adrenaline and confidence through a still very young Duke football team. Their core of players, according to Carl Franks, 37 sophomores now. Second year, really, of rebuilding efforts. Now Ricks humming just his second completion. Throws it up for Atruz in traffic, and it's nearly intercepted. Almost picked off by Josh Kreider. The junior free safety had both hands on it. Atruz had to turn into the role of a defensive back. Claw it free.
Nobody was fooled on that. Florida State going with some misdirection. A little naked boot here. See Chris turn to his left and then back over to the defense's right. See his arm strength. He threw this ball about 55 yards flat-footed. But as you mentioned, Atruz had to become a defensive player to get that ball out of Kreider's hands.
Chris has completed one pass so far, 1 for 4. And a 9-yard hookup. Back to the ground. Stumbling. Not a lot of room for Greg Jones. Inside on second down. The sophomore on his first carry is a hold down by Jamian Small. So we've seen Maddox and now Jones, who a year ago wore number 38. A New Jersey in 6 for him.
Jones, of course, much bigger than both Nick Maddox or Davey Ford. Goes about 240. Great speed, and Coach Bowden was telling us that he's a great change of pace because there's a slasher with speed versus the jitterbugs ahead of him.
Third down, 89. And another delay of game on Florida State.
One of the things that's happening here that Florida State fans will pick up on is they are not singling the plays into Chris Ricks. They are shuttling the plays in with tailbacks and receivers. And as a result, Florida State tardy in being able to get the play into Chris Ricks, get it called in the huddle, get to the line, make your adjustments, go with a snap count. It's a conscious decision to try to simplify things, not worry about waggling the plays in or hand signals of the plays in order to keep it simplified for Ricks.
Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator, with the visor, physically telling the player that comes in, and then repeating it to Ricks. Just 7 on the play clock now. 4-man play. Jones wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. On third down, they elect simply to concede possession and elect to punt it out. Again, it's Small inside.
There's no doubt about what Duke's defensive philosophy is. They're going to put 7, 8, 9 people most of the time in the box. They're going to force Florida State to go over the top. Just too many blue jerseys and blue hats, and everyone is one person is always coming free in order to get a hand on the runner. That time, Jamian Small gets in there with nobody blocking to bring down Greg with some help.
Gwaltney with a laser. His first effort was a 51. This now to Hamilton. Now this is a 53. That's Gerald Hudson on the hustling stuff. Gwaltney's hit 2 terrific punts so far. That's been one of the positives so far in a first quarter that has less than 3 minutes remaining in it. Hamilton hobbles off, and his Duke Blue Devils, yes, lead Florida State.
You mentioned the kicking game, and that was one of the focuses of coming into the 2001 campaign. And Gwaltney, as you see Hamilton get off on the sidelines, so far Gwaltney has proven the punting side has done real well.
We're told there's a penalty as well against Duke, further assessed, that will march them back 10 more yards. Basic spot here will be the 29-yard line. So D. Bryant, pretty good numbers, wouldn't you say?
That'll help the QB rating.
New running back in there, Alex Wade, a sophomore, behind Bryant. And over for Douglas. And in motion. Very sharp, and they'll run it straight ahead. This is a 251-pound Alex Wade on the carry as we check in on the sideline with Tom Block.
Thanks, Paul. Over here on the Duke sideline, we're obviously very early in this ball game, but each time that Duke does something positive, you can really get a sense of confidence growing over here for the Blue Devils. They were all fired up after making Florida State punt the last time. It's a case of FSU letting Duke, a big underdog, hang in this thing, bring the home crowd back into it, Paul.
You're absolutely right on that. The longer you let them hang, more confidence. They grow. Second down. Bryant, the slap route, that was behind Erteljack. We have seen him work on that a couple of times, slatting against a young corner in Malcolm Tatum, marking his first career start, although he did play in 6 games a year ago for Florida State as a freshman.
Tatum doing a good job on that. Give credit to Kendall Pope, the linebacker on that side. I think he got up and kind of caused D. Bryant to throw that ball on an angle a little different than he expected. Tatum at 6'1", 170-pound junior getting his start. Stanford Samuels on the other side. 2 new corners for Florida State with Tate Cody and Cookie Thomas gone.
Following the first incompletion of the game for Bryant. He's going back upstairs. Time he throws, the catch is made, but not nearly enough for the first down. Reggie Love in the flat has Malcolm Tatum all over it after he latches onto it, and the punting unit will have to come on for Duke.
You see one of the reasons why Mickey Andrews likes these 2 corners is they're very physical. This time Tatum comes up, puts his hat right in the midsection and drives Love straight back. Love goes 6'4", 226. Tatum weighs in at 170.
Yeah, Tatum doesn't have a lot of time for love in his life.
No, figuratively or imaginatively or otherwise.
Just let that go. Nick Maddox to field this punt. It's off the side of Trey McDonald's foot. Bounds at the 30. Here will come Maddox. Jitterbugs out. Dips. 30. To the 35-yard line. Maybe the 36. Right between the hashes will be Florida State's field position, with just over a minute remaining in what has been a very frustrating first quarter for Nick and Florida State. A 37-yard kick. Wallace Wade Stadium. Now, they once played the Rose Bowl here during World War II. The West Coast was threatened, and of course the championship game this year. Florida State's played in the last 3.
In the Rose Bowl.
In the other Rose Bowl.
The only bowl Coach Bowden, of the major bowls that Coach Bowden has never participated in.
In fact, Chris Ricks played his last high school game in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. It was an all-star game between the California All-Stars and Floridians. But his team won. He's from the Bay Area of California, Santa Margarita. Sets up with confidence here to Javon Walker, and that looked very different than the Chris Ricks that we have seen through this first quarter.
Well, that's an example of the talent that Chris Ricks has, and a great route by Javon Walker that time. He'll be coming right at you on the left-hand side. Play action. This time Duke separates and only rushes 4. Nice little in route by Javon. Gets his hands on the ball and makes the catch, but a nice delivery by Chris Ricks. There's a confidence builder for both of them.
A gain of 23 yards in the second completion for Ricks. Less than a minute remaining in the first. Greg Jones bounces, lowers his head, dives for about 7. Does Jones. The power back. About 235 pounds on that 6'1" frame, and the corner and Kenneth Stanford is up to chop him down. Half a minute to go.
Jones averaged 6.5 yards per carry last year on just 41 touches. Listed as the third-team tailback, but seeing action ahead of Davey Ford, and that was an indication of why they like to use him. That's a nice little pickup of 8 on first down.
33 going in. And nowhere this time, and that may be the final play of the first quarter. Ryan Fowler on the stop of William McRae, and Duke will receive a thunderous and well-deserved round of cheer. It leads Florida State by a touchdown through one quarter. The team that did not win a game a year ago at 0-11 against a perennial powerhouse, and it's the underdog on top as we head to quarter number 2 on opening night in Wallace Wade Stadium.
The 18th annual Run for Life road races at Life University are back with the best courses for the entire family.
Life is a family affair, and that's one reason we've started to Run for Life.
I think it's great. I think it teaches them self-confidence, and she loves it.
Improve your times while experiencing historic Marietta. Check out the variety of races online and celebrate with us at the best after-race party in town.
Well organized, great place to run.
Register now, and we'll see you at the finish line.
Introducing Cybersonic, the world's first total sonic oral care system. Moving at 31,000 strokes a minute, it's a sonic toothbrush that disintegrates plaque on contact. It's the world's first sonic flosser that power cleans between your teeth. And it's the world's first sonic tongue cleaner that stops bad breath at its source instantly. You get the power handle, the recharging stand, 2 compact brush heads, 2 sonic flossers, 2 sonic tongue cleaners, and complete easy step-by-step instructions. And with Cybersonic, every 3 months you'll automatically be sent 2 replacement brush heads for free. We'll also send you Sonic White, the world's first sonic tooth whitening system. To order Cybersonic for just 5 low payments of $19.95, call this toll-free number right now. Or to order on the web, go to www.sonictoothbrush.com. Send check or money orders for $99.75 plus shipping and handling to this address. Remember, every Cybersonic system comes with free replacement brushes for life and a money-back guarantee. Don't delay. Call to get your own Cybersonic right now.
The network that's first in Florida sports. You're watching Sunshine Network.
Start of the second quarter, offensive coordinator Jeff Bowden, who takes over from Mark Richt, new head coach at Georgia. Of course, his team trailing, shut out in the first quarter, but evidence that his freshman quarterback, his protege in Chris Ricks, is gaining confidence. He sets up shop inside the 35-yard line, possessing snap, however. Third down. And a Duke move prior to the snap. There was contact along the line of scrimmage. Of course, if that's against Duke, this would be a first down. It's not only a case of Ricks being young and new faces there, but so many key players for Florida State injured in fall practice.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
First down for Florida State. So you take away the likes of Anquan Bolden, Robert Morgan, Tallman Gardner was injured in practice earlier this week. Freshman Reed as well. Well, you have hampered Florida State offensively.
Well, the other thing it's done is it makes you offensively a little bit worried about trying to put in a game plan that throws the ball. Will the other kids will respond? You could count on Morgan and Bolden. And we're seeing evidence of that as Florida State struggles to get established.
Play action, Atruz Bell, a tough catch, climbing the ladder. There we go, Atruz Bell caught all of 10 passes all season long. Bell here with his very first catch of the new year.
One of the things that Bell is best about is getting into the end zone. Had 11 touchdowns last year, 10 by reception and 1 on a reverse. And big frame as he gets up in the air. He says he's listed at 5'11". I've stood beside him. I'm 5'10". He's about 3 inches taller than I am. I'm going to give him 6 feet.
Second man through, cut down at the line of scrimmage. Good play by Jamian Small, who's having a terrific first half, number 24 for Duke. They have a Pontiac, Michigan.
A hand on Greg Jones. Small already with 6 tackles in this football game for Duke.
And that'll happen with your linebackers, particularly your 2 inside linebackers, again, as you see that padded hand, because Duke is putting those 8 or 9 in the box, and that means somebody's going to be free. Somebody does not going to have a hat on them. And as a result, somebody's going to get a first shot at the running back with no one blocking.
Well, we have a moment. Here are the injuries. Anquan Bolden had just been moved back to wide receiver after competing against Chris Ricks for the quarterback position.
He went down after Robert Morgan went down, and then just after Bolden went down, Willie Reed, who had been playing at both running back and wide receiver, is out. Those are 3, as Coach would say, dadgummit things that happen.
124 yards, 78 of which came on that D. Bryant to Chris Douglas catch and run.
When's the last time you saw Florida State having an advantage in the time of possession?
Just a couple of first downs, too. 3rd down and 5. Ricks slings it out that way, and Bell cannot hold on to it. In front of Stanford. Just kind of threw it sidearm, didn't they?
He really did. Great coverage that time, though, by Kenneth Stanford. He's a freshman. You got Ronnie Hamilton, the senior, at one corner, and Stanford, the freshman, at the other. He's redshirted in 2000, so this is the first time he's dressed or played for Duke. Left-hand side of the offense, play action. Just waits a little too long to throw it and kind of slings it out their sidearm, but great coverage by Stanford that time on Atrus.
So Saviet Beitia, freshman place kicker, will put it. The team kick it away and just kick through what is a 40-yard field goal for Florida State. Its first points of this game by a freshman in his first effort. Saviet Beitia from Tampa, Florida, and a bright spot for FSU, finally on the board.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength, becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
So you say you're the football expert at your office? Well, prove it. Log on to SunshineNetwork.com and make your picks in the Recreational Factory Warehouse Football Pool. You can play by yourself or form a league with friends and coworkers. Test your knowledge against Sunshine Network talent such as Pat Clark and Barry Milligan. Make the right picks and you can win great weekly prizes. Be the best at the end of the season and win a spa or pool table from Recreational Factory Warehouse. So log on today at SunshineNetwork.com.
Wallace Wade Stadium, where Duke continues to lead 6-3, although Florida State has scored for the first time. Saviet Beitia handling placements from 40 yards away, and now Jesse Stein, former Air Force Academy cadet, his first game at Florida State. Kicks it deep. This will be the very dangerous Chris Douglas, so hold your breath. 20. 25, 26, 27-yard line. He's an electrifying play.
He really is. There's just something about him that every time he touches the ball, he can go to distance. They use him, as you saw there, on kickoff returns. They throw to him out of the backfield. Quite talented on the ground.
And D. Bryant back into the huddle. We check in with Tom.
Hey, Paul, before the game, Coach Bowden really emphasized to his team not to panic if they get in trouble. He pointed out that in Charlie Ward's first start, he threw 4 interceptions against Duke. Chris Winke's second start, he threw 6 interceptions against NC State. So obviously the team has calmed down a bit, and at least they got some points on the board.
For that disastrous trip, get a face mask in there. We do a couple of flags down. Darnell Dockett wrapping up Douglas. And of course, Chris Winke, one of the 2 losses coming when Chris threw those 6 interceptions. at NC State. There is Darnell Dockett, who tugs on the face mask of Chris Douglas.
I'm afraid this is going to be of the 15-yard variety.
Setting.
Got a break there.
Call against Duke. Florida State catches a break. Major break for Bobby Bowden.
Foul. Grasping the face mask on the defense. Holding on the offense. Penalties offset, replay.
I like those glasses that Bobby has on a little better than the ones opening last year, if you remember. There's Dockett with the face mask. I don't think we can pick up the hold unless it's right behind it, but that is of the 15-yard variety. Florida State catches a break with those offsetting penalties.
And the ball now spotted on the far side.
See, I like those. Paul, you like those?
You like that? The age of 71, he still has style, doesn't it?
Without a doubt.
And of course, lots of Joe Paterno receiving. And there, Brian Smart. Is Douglas not getting out of the backfield as that defense begins to stir and wake up. Michael Boulware dons his brother's 58. Peter Boulware used to wear Florida State. At 57 last year, the sophomore linebacker.
There you see why Joe Kynes is so high on Michael Boulware. This is a sprint draw action right up the middle, and Douglas has room, and Boulware just runs him down with that great speed. 6'3", 225. Remember, Michael was a receiver as well as a linebacker in high school, and shows you a little bit of the reason why.
2nd and 12. The hitch by Bryant to throw deep. Then he overshoots an open Ertlejack. Ertlejack had a step there, didn't he?
He did on the freshman Leroy Smith. And nice call that time. Almost converting it. And Leroy's going to head over the sidelines, and Mickey will visit with him a little bit. Left-hand side of the screen, pump fake, up and out route. And Ertlejack gets behind Smith. The ball's just errant.
Now 3rd and long, and these are situations that Duke, for the most part, has been able to avoid, because throughout recent history, of course, Florida State has feasted on these opportunities.
4 wide for Duke.
They throw the middle screen to Douglas, and Jennings hits him a pretty good shot at the 31-yard line. Down he goes, and the kicking unit will have to come on. There's that arrow on the back.
Yep, monster's pointing upwards.
Pointed toward the running back. The only senior starter in the front 7, Bradley Jennings, on this tackle.
Florida State's going to take a timeout, Paul.
That'll be Florida State's second. They'll have 1 remaining. The final 12-19 of this first half. So there is evidence for Duke that they are improved, at least certainly don't play with the trepidation that they showed last year when they came into Tallahassee, were blown away. Florida State scoring 63 points against them, averaging them defensively.
The average margin of victory or average score has been like 55-16 in this series. Florida State leads at 9-0, but you're seeing the Carl Franks era starting to kick in. As you mentioned, 35-37 of his kids are sophomores or redshirt sophomores and freshmen. Those are the kids that Coach Franks brought in, and he did some things in the off-season to work on team chemistry, took them bowling, they played some softball and some other things, and they're playing very much like a unit right now against Florida State.
Took them all bowling. And do they have,
can you imagine,
shoes the size for some of those linemen?
Well, he was telling us some of them didn't have 15 or 16 shoes, and they'd throw the ball would hit, and their bottom would hit. Feet would go right out from under them.
I can just see big Sean Lynch at 280 pounds trying to bowl their center. He'd handle a football. I wonder how he'd handle a bowling ball. This will be Seth Carter to snap it to Trey McDonald, the punter. He bobbles this. He goes down, kicks the ball. A flag in. Loose ball scooped up. Florida State still fighting for it at the 10-yard line. Still loose toward the end zone. And now down. And a pile at the 2-yard line. There is a penalty marker that lays back upfield at the 22. What a madhouse caper that is. And it could have been on the kick by the kicker in Trey McDonald, the punter. And it's a hold instead on Duke.
Preliminary is hold against Duke. Of course, Florida State will decline. And this is the one area that Coach Franks talked about that he could not afford for his team to have mistakes, mental or physical errors. And that time he had one. And you're going to see a little scrum going on here. Newton there trying to get in on it, and it gets away from him. And then a couple of other Seminoles, Stanford Samuels in there. And finally, I think Boulware actually pins the ball down with a lot of help.
Well, this was a freshman in Trey McDonald. His first effort sailed 51 yards, but it's been downhill since in a 33-yard shank. And now this terrible drop here. Florida State with a great break. 1st and goal inside the 2-yard line.
Well, again, Mickey Andrews and his side of the ball, the defensive side, creating opportunities. You see Boulware there. Great play on the series, and then recovers the botched punt.
McCray in front of Maddox. It's McCray for the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. William McCray pounds it into the end zone. The first touchdown of the season for FSU. And the Seminoles have taken their first lead of the evening on opening night.
Well, Willie had 8 touchdowns last year on the ground. He adds one early in the 2001 season, even with that new number. And Florida State brings up the scoreboard a little further.
Extra point try now. Saviat Beitia out of the hold of Chance Gwaltney. Good spot. And the kick, too, is through. Florida State, after an inconsistent start, off a special teams turnover, polishes off Duke behind McCray, blasting into the end zone.
Rugged, tough, the Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse. And so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
I'm Ronnie Costello, Executive Director of the Glazer Family Foundation. The Glazer family wanted to lift the spirits of hospitalized children. So, 2 years ago, the Cheering You On program was launched. The program gives a Buccaneer teddy bear and activity book to every child admitted into participating local hospitals. We've distributed nearly 50,000 teddy bears and books to children in hope of making their hospital stay more bearable. For more information, log on to glazerfamilyfoundation.com.
Rain throughout the day in Durham. Dry at the moment. The slippery field may have contributed to Trey McDonald bobbling, muffing the snap from center, kicking the ball. Punt try, and Florida State recovers at the 2-yard line.
Great snap by Seth Carter. He's a returner, although he's a sophomore. He snapped all last year as a freshman. Hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it.
Well, the kickoff here by Jesse Stein. Here comes Chris Douglas. 20-yard line, down he goes. This is a prescription surface. But when Florida State came here in 1993, well, it was a far different field, Keith. Remember the mud and the muck here at Wallace Wade?
I mean, it was unbelievable. Back in '93, and Charlie Ward, a quarterback. In fact, when we visited with Mickey last night, he was telling us it's the worst field he's ever seen in his life.
Florida State would win this game, but literally the mud was up to the ankles. The field had a crown. It drained on the sides, but you can see in the middle of the field a mud bath. Far different here tonight as Duke operates from its 20-yard line. On first down, Douglas. Up to the 24-25. Down to the field, here's Tom.
Paul, more on what you're talking about. They redid the field here back in 1997, so it should drain better, although as I look at it, it's already pretty torn up. Looks like I've been trying to work on my golf game out here. There's divots everywhere. Basically, the old field that we just saw pictures of, there was about 16 inches of soil below the ground at 2 different soil levels, and the water just wasn't getting to the pipe, so the field just absorbed it like a sponge. They have redone that back in 1997, so it should be better. Of course, it really hasn't rained since the game started. Back upstairs.
There's signs of at least Duke making a financial commitment to this football program.
Nice play.
Inside, off the draw, Kendall Pope fills the lane and the hole very well, number 9. The Floridian linebacker, sophomore.
Little undersized at 220 by most standards is Pope, but one of the things that Joe Kynes likes about him is he can find the football. You see a great read this time. He slips right inside the gap and brings down Douglas for little or no gain. And that type of quickness and that type of football instinct is why everyone is high on number 9, Kendall Pope.
He's put on about 10 pounds. Here, Duke's yet to convert on 3rd down tonight. 4 previous opportunities, and they won't here either. It's through the arms, open. Kyle Moore headed toward the sideline. He would have had the first down if he'd been able to hold on to the football.
Well, if you'll reflect back on last year's game, Duke opened with 2 passes that receivers dropped, and Coach Franks was going to stress that during the week. You can't make these types of mistakes. Nice delivery by Bryant right in the hands, and Kyle just drops it.
Samuels, right corner, taking over for Tate Cody. On that side. Hunter does this. That one's blocked. Another touchdown for Florida State. Scooped up, racing into the end zone. Jerome Carter. Florida State with 2 touchdowns in a matter of minutes. The block kick, and Carter racing in for this one, Keith.
Jerome Carter, the freshman out of Lake City, Columbia High. That's the same school that Kendall Pope is from. So we see Pope make a nice play, and you see Carter. That's the trifecta. You get through, you block it, you take it in. A hat trick for the freshman.
23 with his first career score. Beitia kicked a 40-yard field goal, his second extra point. And Florida State's special teams and its defense tonight. The offense sputtering has taken control of this football game in the second quarter.
It's time to play. Hoop it up. The National 3-on-3 Tour is coming. Get your friends, get your family. We've got referees on all courts and divisions for men, women, boys, girls, whatever your size or playing ability. Hoop it up's for everybody. Check out the hoopitup.com website or call the Hoops hotline. No more excuses. It's time to play. Orlando Hoop It Up returns to Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex on September 29th. Pick up an entry form at your local Foot Locker, Army recruiting station, or call 407-322-0957.
Dish Entertainment Magazine brings home the best in entertainment to keep you tuned into all of your favorite programs. From sci-fi to drama, to mystery, to comedy, we'll show you a world of entertainment that's open to you. It's not just entertainment, but a complete listing of all your favorite programs and networks scheduled on the Dish Network. There's something for everyone, and best of all, it's only $3.95 per month. To order, call 1-800-333-DISH today. Dish Entertainment Magazine. Don't stay home without it.
Why are you looking at me like that? 1, because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck. And 2, you don't have a scratch on you.
I've come to believe a rather unbelievable possibility. I hope you can keep an open mind. Are you ready for the truth?
Unbreakable, rated PG-13.
Sports fans want to get in the game. They go to SunshineNetwork.com. Up-to-the-minute insight on all your favorite teams, stats, scores, and a whole lot more. SunshineNetwork.com.
Jerome Carter following the block with his right hand. A 12-yard return. His first career touchdown. Florida State, after trailing 6-0 at the end of the first quarter, has scored all 17 points in just over 3 minutes on the scoreboard.
Well, you know, we're used to seeing that with Chris Winkie at the helm, throwing the ball downfield to Snoop Menace or Travis Minor taking a swing pass or the ball. But now we're seeing the defense creating turnovers and even scoring, and Florida State still putting the points up quickly.
Here's time to Douglas. And the hole to the 36-yard line. Let's take another look at that block. There we go.
First, we'll get a good look at the kickoff return. And again, as I've said, repeating myself, this is why Duke's staff loves to get the ball in the hands of Douglas. He just seems to make things happen when he's got the football or is around the football. And he led the freshman group in the NCAA in all-purpose yards, and you can see evidence why.
And the defense is swarming now. Darnell Dockett helmet was there. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen here, says the freshman All-American, number 45, and Dockett, who was the National Freshman Defensive Player of the Year last season.
He's missed a week of practice during camp, had some various ailments, came in a little too heavy, and Coach Odell Higgins was chatting and visiting and cajoling and making him work and get some weight off, and now he's back down around 270, 275. He's got his quickness back.
Following the loss of 3. High formation play action. Bryant guns. And a tough catch. Good coverage there for Florida State on the part of Leroy Smith. The freshman corner.
Got a penalty back behind the line of scrimmage, roughing the quarterback.
Should be a first down for Duke, which needs a first down in the worst way. Their kicking game, and freshman punter Trey McDonald, disastrous in this quarter.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
See if we can get another look at it here. Bryant delivers the ball. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not a big vicious hit, but Dockett knows better than that. He'll be talked about during the video session. No sense in that, Darnell.
It's the 3rd penalty flagged against Florida State. The football now spotted 2 yards shy of midfield. And Bryant in 78 of those yards. Get on the completion, catch and run by Chris Douglas for a score. Duke's only point so far. On first down, 2 play actions for Bryant, and now he'll tuck it. Won't get very far, about 3. Wrapped up from behind. Kevin Emanuel came across the field to chase him down. Number 90, and Emanuel is playing both outside and inside now with Jeff Womble and Mike Shaw not playing tonight. They can use Kevin both inside and out of this four-man front.
On the depth chart, he's a second-team defensive end, but he'll also play behind Dockett when he needs a rest. You see the great speed that Emanuel possesses, a little lighter than some of the other defensive people at 246, and runs quite well.
After the gain of 4. Floats it out of the backfield to big Alex Wade. The ball comes loose after the catch, and Florida State says it hasn't.
I believe they're going to rule him down. Let's get a look at it.
Down on contact. The ground, of course, cannot cause a fumble. Huge call for Duke here. Starting to move the ball on Florida State. And our referee, Joseph Ryder, to sort this out. The Atlantic Coast Conference assigned officiating crew.
Well, as you know, we don't have replay at the college level. We do have it at the professional. So they'll get a good opportunity to talk at it. While they're talking, we'll get a chance to look at it. 5-step drop right over the middle. He's got the ball. Ball comes loose. That's a fumble.
Be their ball, just by the fumble, first down.
This might be a better angle than you could see there. Does the ball come out before his knee touches, before he's down? The second hit,
out, right
ball
there.
clearly out on that hit by Alan Augustin, number 40. Alan Augustin jarred that free. That should have been Florida State's ball. Little consolation to Bobby Bowden. Defense now backed up to its 38. Wade. You've got 250 pounds coming at you in Alex Wade. He's a rumbler. He is huge. Running back standards.
Averaged a little over 3 yards a carry. Had 20 touches last year. Did have 8 receptions. He's going to have to struggle to get his shoe back on. He's noted as being a good pass receiver, although we did see him give it up then, but he can churn it out down in there with the big boys with that 250, 255-pound bulk.
Gain of 4. Good hard running. Wade. Three-receiver formation. Bryant again away. Spins, keeps his feet going, and you can hear the helmets cracking. They resound throughout the stadium. Good popping, Chris Hope, helmet to helmet on Alex Wade.
Wade keeping good forward momentum, getting his chest over his knees, making it a little harder for you to get a good shot on him. That time Kendall Pope came up and met him pretty square. Watch the right-hand side of your screen. Number 9 will come into it. Give him a shot right there. He just spins right off of him, and it takes a couple more Florida State defenders, including Chris Hope, that finally bring him down.
Trying to convert on 3rd down for the first time. Bryant fires high for Erdeljak, and it's 4th down. Now needing a couple of yards. The crowd here begins to stir. If you're Carl Franks, you have 3 timeouts remaining. Why not take one right here and discuss this? See how you can pick up a couple of yards on Florida State.
Well, we saw Brent Garber miss a point after attempt. He's actually a place kicker for Duke. Garber better from 35 yards or out. If they were to go for the field goal, this would be about 47. Duke will take your advice, Paul.
Yeah.
Take the timeout and discuss it.
They've been moving the ball effectively, have driven, although they caught a break on Florida State. A missed call. They have the ball at the Florida State 31. 7 plays in all so far for number 6, Dee Bryant and Duke.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
Rugged, tough, the Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse. And so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Lining's dealer nearest you. Call now.
Log on to SunshineNetwork.com to play the Mercedes-Benz Hole-in-One Challenge. Take one swing on 9 different holes and see how close you can get to the pin. Win money if you stay in the fairway or make it on the green. And if you make a hole-in-one, it's worth $100,000. But watch out, no gopher hazards. Stay out of the water, in bounds, and off the beach. And you might find your name posted on the leaderboard. So log on and tee it up in the Mercedes-Benz Hole-in-One Challenge.
Paul Kennedy, Keith Jones, Tom Block with you tonight on Sunshine Network. That is Dee Bryant, whose team led at the end of the first quarter 6-0. Florida State rallies in the second. And now Bryant, coming off the timeout, facing 4th down and going for it in Florida State territory. Needs to clear the 28. One setback, Alex Wade. Rolling that way. Firing high for Erdeljak. And no chance that Erdeljak is going to be able to get there. Make that catch.
As successful as Duke had been with running Wade on the left-hand side of the offense, a little surprised at that call. Might have been a little better approach to try to keep it on the ground and build upon the success that they'd had.
Aren't you being nice tonight?
That's first game of the year.
What was this?
It was a sorry pass was what it was, but I don't like the call.
Is he even open here?
No.
And Malcolm Tatum was right there in a little shot. The numbers on Ricks, again, somewhat misleading because 78 yards, or rather, Dee Bryant's numbers are misleading. Here's Ricks, who warmed up in the second quarter after that shake of the first. play action to Maddox, and he's going to show his arm strength now. Throwing downfield for A-Trues Bell, who was running up the back of the defender. Two of them, and we have a shaken Ronnie Hamilton, who lies at the 30-yard line.
Well, Hamilton showing his experience at the corner position. You just see Hill, who came over to help out. That's B.J. Hill, a junior. Hamilton, number 11, throttled down when he saw that ball was a little overthrown and forced A-Trues to make contact and try to run up his back. Look on the left-hand side of your screen. Chris Ricks lays this ball out, and Hamilton has position, so he just throttles down, slows down, and prohibits A-Trues from getting to the ball. Legal play, good smart play.
Tailback Davey Ford got a hand on his helmet, and he gains about 5 yards. Amazing that Davey Ford remains as quick, elusive, downright fast as he is, and this is senior year after 2 separate knee surgeries. He still might be the fastest known.
And not on the different knees, both of them on the same knee. And when you talk to Billy Sexton, you talk to Jeff Bowden, the one thing they do comment on Davey is that A, he works hard, and B, he's always prepared and ready to go.
But a nice blend, this trio of Maddox, Jones, and now the third man in, and Davey Ford tonight in the first half for Florida State. A quick out, that's held on to by Crow Thorpe. Profonso Thorpe, another freshman. He from Tallahassee with his first varsity reception in garnet and gold in front of Kenneth Stanford. Good for a first down.
You mentioned Chris Ricks playing in the Rose Bowl in the Florida-California high school all-star game. Crow played in that game about 2 months ago, had an outstanding game out in California, and you see a little bit of the reason why they like him so much. Good hands, although sometimes he does lose his concentration, and though he doesn't show it on this play, very good in the open field. 6'2", 175-pound freshman out of Tallahassee.
And this is the Carolina native, and Nick Maddox. Expected to see a bit more of Nick here. Bobby Bowden saying he has earned this opportunity to start as Nick Maddox, who has waited in the wings literally for years. And there were whispers around Carolina, his native state, and still some resentment he didn't stay here in this state to go to school, but rather signing with Bowden, that perhaps he had made a mistake and wasn't the player many thought he would be.
Well, this will be his year to break out if he's going to, because he'll get enough touches to get some notoriety and gain the coach's confidence.
Second down, another shot here, and he dances outside, and there you see Nick Maddox. Welcome home, Nick Maddox, back to Carolina. He relishes this moment. Oh, does this feel good? It doesn't taste any better than a 51-yard jaunt to quiet all the backstabbers. He plants a spear in the end zone, and Florida State has scored again. He bounced that outside, and like a rocket, he was gone. 23-6. Here is Sabiad Beitia. Let's get used to saying this name. You're going to hear it a lot this year. Beitia, another extra point.
And we still don't know if we're saying it right.
I hope so.
He's the X-Man as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Sabiad, if you don't have a nickname, I'm giving you one. You're now the X-Man. One of the things Jeff Bowden was telling us last night, Paul, is that he run the ball up there, run the ball up there, run the ball up there, and then explode. And that's what all 3 of these Florida State tailbacks can do. Great job at the end here. Watch the junior show his maturity, allows the block to get set up, and then just scoots right on around to get into the end zone. Great effort. 51-yard touchdown run for the North Carolina native, and nobody, trust me, folks, nobody any more excited than Nick Maddox.
His family is here tonight, and unlike most games, they don't have to drive 12, 16 hours to Tallahassee to share with Nick. And his first start, this 51-yard ramble, now we're close to 70 yards. Played at Kannapolis High School, and in Kannapolis at the high school there in Brown High School, about an hour from here. And a big picture of him on the front of the paper yesterday in a green uniform. That was the school colors. Brown High School, for some reason, wears green. Explain that. But there he was. Wore number 20 in high school. And Jeff Bowden has to breathe a bit easier than he was at the outset tonight.
There you see 5 plays, 69-yard scoring drive. Took just a little under 2 minutes. And Jeff's got to be breathing just a little bit easier. Remember, Florida State's put up 24 points, but basically 14 of them have come from the defense.
defense here holds on 4th down. The Duke went for it 4th and 2. And moments later, FSU's offense scores. They won't get back to the 20-yard line. The man that blocked the punt and scored, Jerome Carter, on this special team stop of Duke's Curry Sharp. Kickoff. He's about had it all, haven't you? Special teams bobble after Bryant led 6-0 in the second quarter. 40-yard field goal, and then the bobble set him up at the 2, the blocked kick, and now this home run.
Now, if you're Duke, you've got 5 minutes and 8 seconds left on the clock here in the second quarter. Don't get away from what you were doing that was successful for you. Don't panic. Don't get out of your game plan. What you want to do is keep the ball, let the clock run. You do not want to give Florida State another opportunity on offense. On first down.
Bryant with some time, hunting Love. Upfield at the 31, and he skips it up. Incomplete in front of Stanford Samuels. Samuels taking over for Tay Cody, who was a 4-year starter on the corner, an All-American. You got Tommy Polley, an All-Conference selection. He's gone. How about Derek Gibson, a first-round choice of the Oakland Raiders, who departs from the safety position? All those men have to be replaced.
And Coach Mickey Andrews very high on the talent of Samuels and Malcolm Tatum. And as we've said, the broken record that we can be. Simply need playing time, experience in order to refine that talent.
Tight end Hart slides. Douglas, there's the other way. Clock winds down, less than 5 minutes away from halftime. Kendall Pope on the bottom of this pile.
3rd down and 9.
Very difficult in normal circumstances to run against Florida State up the middle. Jennings in that linebacker position. Chris Hope will move up and play almost like a linebacker. And of course, big Darnell Dockett, we've seen a couple of plays out of him. Those are your only 3 returning starters with Womble out. Everyone else with talent, just no game experience.
They're smiling, Keith.
Defensive players never smile.
Bryant arches this one for Love, who leaps up there and cannot make the catch. And there is Tatum. Perfect position. Miami native. Solid tonight. And he missed most of last season with back problems, did Malcolm Tatum. Solid effort there on the taller Reggie Love.
It's a good thing that Malcolm had position that time, because I don't think he ever really got his head around to see the football. Good technique plays. We see Tommy working the stands there on your left-hand side of your screens. Good technique play. Malcolm will learn, just a junior, get his head back around. That could be an interception.
Learning experience for this freshman and Trey McDonald. Short kick. Up comes Nick Maddox. Maddox to the 33-yard line. Tremendous field position for Florida State. Just a 32-yard punt. A rattle punter in the freshman, Trey McDonald. Speedy Maddox. As Florida State inside the 35 with still 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
And that was my exact point about a minute ago. A minute and 4 seconds ago, to be exact. If you're Duke, you don't want to give this Florida State offense another opportunity before the half. And here they are with plenty of time and excellent field position for Chris Ricks and company.
Now Chris Ricks. 4 completions this first half, close to 50 yards through the air. Start to run the end around, a loosened move there. Tom and Gardner not expected to play tonight. Taken down at the 40-yard line. Here's Tom.
Hey, Paul, I've got a pretty happy mom down here. This is Pat Maddox. Of course, Nick Maddox returned to the Tar Heel State, and you've been waiting a long time. What were you doing during that touchdown run?
Oh, I ran down to the...
You ran further than Nick did.
I did. I ran down to the bottom of the thing.
How does it feel to have your son come back and start in his home state for the first time?
It feels good because he had a lot of criticism that he left the state, but Florida State is where he wanted to go, so it feels good.
Now, Nick tells me that you haven't missed a game of his since 7th grade. So that must, is that right?
That is right. I had surgery when he was in the 7th grade, but other than that, I made all of his games.
So when you see him play in Tallahassee, what time do you pack up the vehicle and head down to Doak Campbell Stadium?
Well, it's according to what time the game is. A lot of times I leave on Friday because I work like 3rd shift, and so I leave on Friday.
And how many family members do you have here rooting for Nick?
About 40 or 50.
All right, well, let's get it up. The Nick Maddox fan club over here. Yeah, there we go. Paul, we got a happy crowd down here. Back to you.
Better believe they're happy, overjoyed. Third down, a mother's love. Ricks, all the time in the world, and Walker, no. Went up there, should have, could have, would have made the catch. Maybe caught Kenneth Stanford out of the corner of his eye, simply dropped the ball.
Great delivery by Ricks this time. He'll be looking right down the pike, right down this hash mark. Javon goes up and gets his hands on the ball. He's got to make this catch. That's the one thing Jeff Bowden was telling us last night, that he was most disappointed in his receivers. As you see another look at it here, is they would get their hands on the ball and then lose concentration and not catch it. That's the difference between being a great athlete and a good receiver and being a great athlete and a great receiver.
How do you hit your wedges, Keith, like this? You get this to back up inside the 5? Oh, not quite. Gwaltney came close. It's a 35-yard punt. Brought up at the 20.
If I'd have been hitting my wedge, there's about 400 people on the left-hand side of the stands that would have been in danger.
Nick Maddox's family would have all been ducking.
They'd have been moving out of the way.
Florida State had a duck early. He was stunned on that 78-yard gallop by Chris Douglas, but has settled down and leading 24-6 with 3 minutes left in our first half.
Cheerleaders here in town. Marching Chiefs did not make this trip, but the cheerleaders are here along with about 3,000, 3,500 Florida State faithful.
On first down, Alex Wade. Big fullback from Bradley Jennings. The Seminoles, of course, next week at home against a team that will not be a pushover. UAB, Alabama Birmingham, coached by Watson Brown, won 7 games last season, went 7-4 as a member of Conference USA.
Victorious Thursday night. They played an early game. We'll have a couple of 3 extra days to prepare for Florida State.
Last year, they beat LSU.
At LSU.
In Baton Rouge. Next Saturday. Have that for you on Sunshine Network. Bryant going down, batted into the air, very nearly intercepted. Abdul Howard had a shot at that. And this game doesn't resemble very much, does it? The early first 10 minutes, say. The pressure coming now on Bryant.
Good push up the middle by Florida State, and you'll see a good break on the ball here. Kendall Pope gets his hand up, and Abdul Howard nearly brings it down. First quarter and a half, quarter and 2/3 went by real quick. This last 5 minutes has really drug out as we've seen a lot of inconsistent play.
Bryan has failed to complete his last 4 attempts as he works out of the gun on 3rd and 9. Pumps once, tucks, takes on. Sanford and Pope wishboning at the 37-yard line. The punting unit will have to go back out there for Duke University. So this is rounding into form here as we near halftime. First weekend of Atlantic Coast Conference play, and this the 53rd year the ACC. And coming up at the half, join us. We'll have all the highlights for you of this. Also, we'll be visiting with George Langford. Keith Jones with Bobby Bowden coming up at the half. "42-yard line on the punt of just 15 yards. So the kicking game has let Duke down in the first half.
Started out so well. Trey McDonald with that 55, 56-yard punt, and then he's had one that he dropped. He's had a couple of shanks, this being the second. And again, Florida State with time on the clock, a minute 32, is going to get another shot inside the Duke 50.
And now Ricks can put Florida State over 30 unless Bobby Bowden, and talking to Billy Sexton, who has been with him. For Billy, this is his 25th year as the running backs coach. Just take the 24-6 coach and let's get out of here. That's not necessarily been the king of the roads methodology, and he's going to strike right here. Javon Walker can't get there. Good reaching in job there. Kenneth Stanford can bat it away. His right hand. That was right between the 8 and the 0, like Chris Ricks or Javon Walker's jersey.
Well, you can't fault the delivery, and you can't fault the accuracy of the throw. Just a great defensive effort. He'll be working left to right. Chris is looking for Javon the entire way. Lays the ball up, plenty of air underneath it. And Stanford's just going to get that left hand, and knock it out of the way. Great effort.
Hustling Kenneth Sanford, freshman from Detroit, working against Walker the senior. Blitz coming. Ricks unloads against the blitz. This is Walker spinning at the sideline and stays inbounds down to the 26-yard line. One thing Duke has not done in the first half this year that they did a season ago in Doak is blitz as frequently.
We haven't seen the blitz hardly at all. And again, a different change of philosophy with Carl Franks and his staff. They're going to make the freshman quarterback execute as opposed to try to blitz a Chris Weinke and make him make quick decisions.
On the game there, first down set up for Ricks. Blitz coming this time, and open is Maddox, and another touchdown. How about Ricks picking it up? He saw the blitz coming, went to the right man in Maddox, and Nick has his second 6 of the first half.
And we see Florida State utilizing Nick Maddox in ways that Duke is utilizing Chris Douglas. That time Nick working out of the backfield may have even, I didn't catch it, may have even lined up in the slot position. And remember, of course, as you see Ricks being congratulated on the sideline, Maddox ran the receiver position most of last year, so he's well acquainted with catching the ball in the open field.
That would be for Chris Ricks.
Touchdown pass number 1.
His first Seminole touchdown strike. It comes in the first half to the running back in Maddox, and Florida State with 31 points unanswered in the second quarter.
Maddox lines up in the slot over on the left-hand side and just doesn't get over, does Duke to cover him. Nice delivery, reception, touchdown by the North Carolina native.
So number 25, Terrell Smith, blitzing a play. Ricks stared him down, fired, and right where Smith would have been was Maddox.
Daryl Dickey, the new quarterback coach for Florida State, will talk to Chris about that delivery. A little bit of a shot put from the side, but he will not argue with the result.
After a Heisman Trophy season out of one number 16 in Chris Weinke, the start of a new career, and a quick 6 out of Ricks, wearing 16 this season.
One of the things I commented to Jeff as we were visiting with him, you know, when Chris showed up for media day about 3 or 4 weeks ago, all the other players had on uniforms. Chris came in with a nice pair of press slacks, had on his loafers, had his shirt tail tucked in,
don't
jewelry in place, hair nicely done. I told Jeff, I said, I don't know if he's the starting quarterback that was at that time. I said, but he's sure acting like one.
If he's dressed like that, he's not hanging around the offensive lineman who would not let that go unnoticed. Chris Douglas out of line to the 25, 26-yard line for Douglas with less than a minute remaining. Alan Augustin, reserve linebacker on this kickoff coverage. Stop. 31 for Florida State unanswered after Douglas there had raced 78 yards for Duke's first score.
And as had been the thought of many, started with Florida State's defense, the defensive unit creating things, making things happen to give the offense the time and allow them to be patient as they develop.
Rain clouds that were above, all but disappeared. And carrying into the arms of Chris Hope and Kendall Pope. 45 seconds to go. There is Kendall Pope. He has added some size and strength, hasn't he?
He really has, and he hasn't lost any of his quickness. But again, the one intangible, and Joe Kynes would just sing praises about this, is he's got good football savvy. He just knows how to play the game of football, does Kendall Pope.
Played a lot in the second half of last season as a freshman. Pope did. And now Douglas's Duke is just trying to get out of here, into that halftime locker room. You don't rebuild in one season. A matter of one Saturday evening here. They had a bit of progress in the first quarter. The second period was a disaster for Duke, and certainly inspiring at times for FSU.
And first game jitters, Florida State trying to get on track, working all the cobwebs out, and as you mentioned, 31 unanswered points, and there's part of the reason why. The freshman out of California, Chris Ricks.
And 2 second quarter Nick Maddox touchdowns. Florida State hangs 31 on the halftime scoreboard here at Wallace Wade Stadium. The first trip for Bobby Bowden on the road at Wallace Wade in Durham since 1997, in quest of what would be his 316th win. And as you can see, he's standing by the top.
All right, thank you, Paul. Coach Bowden jotting some notes before he goes in to talk to the team at the half. Coach, it took a little while, but finally your offense started showing signs there. I know you have to feel a little bit better about what you're able to do in the second quarter.
I was very concerned in the first quarter, but they just blitz. Remember what I told you last week, when people blitz, they get you or you get them. And so the first quarter, they got us, but in the second quarter, we got them. But the defense is the one that turned that thing over, y'all.
Yeah, the defense set the tone. In terms of Ricks, what did you say to him? What kind of sense did you get in terms of how nervous he was or why he settled down?
I couldn't sense any nervousness out of him. We were going to try to run the ball so he wouldn't have to throw. But it was obvious they wasn't going to let us. They had everybody up there, you know. So then he threw good enough, effectively enough to break up what they're doing. So I think he did a heck of a job under the circumstances.
You go with him as long as possible in the second half?
I'd like to go with him and see if we can extend that lead and then get the other guy in there. But, you know, remember last time we played here, it was about that at the half, and we came out second half, started our second team. We couldn't even make a first down. So don't want to substitute too early.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Thank you. All right, Bobby Bowden looking for another. Keith, you know, we've had the privilege of watching this Florida State dynasty as it continues to grow. 14 years and counting of finishing in the top 5 and with 10-plus wins, and, of course, 5 straight years with at least 11 wins. It all started back in the mid-1980s, and I had a chance to sit down with Coach Bobby Bowden to get his thoughts as he reflects back on the start of the dynasty, which kicked off in 1987.
That's kind of our breakthrough year.
Toward the end zone, and Philip Carter, touchdown! He got it! Touchdown! Lewis!
We were second in the nation, and had we beat Florida out here, Miami, which we had, 19-3 in the fourth quarter, if we'd have beat them, would have been national champions.
A goal is simple, best in the land, rocking to the beat of the March Chiefs band.
88 teams should have been national champions. We were preseason #1, got beat 31-0 by Miami, won the rest of them. That cost us the national championship. Overconfidence. 89, a team that overachieved.
Gets the point of turn. He is to the 30-yard line. He is to the 20-yard line. Down the sideline, next to Carter. Touchdown, Florida State.
Lost our first 2 games and won the rest of them. And I felt like they overachieved. I think we went into our last game needing a win to make it 10 wins. 90, I thought, it reminds me of this year on paper. That was the, I don't want to say weakest team, because in the year it widened. But when we started the season, we had more unknowns and more question marks than I can remember of any of these years. And this team's kind of like a lot of question marks, you know. We were preseason #1, and we won our first 10. Didn't make it. Got everybody hurt. Played LSU. Got everybody hurt. Had 5 guys, and just won the game, and just last couple of games wasn't quite as good.
Here's a snap. The kick is airborne. It is wide to the right.
Charlie Ward came of age that year, and I think Vanover did too. And again, a team where freshmen pitching in made it an 11-1 ball club.
Touchdown, FSU!
93, of course, was a magic year where we won the national championship, and yet had maybe fewer starters back then we have right now. But the difference is we had a veteran quarterback back then, one of the best in the country. This year we got inexperienced quarterback. Danny Cannell came in and did a great job, and we won, 10 ball games. Was that the year we tied Florida and beat them in the bowl? But that team overachieved too. 95, if we'd have been a little bit better, we might could have played for a national championship. But I thought it was a good year. That was a heck of a ball club there. Florida won the national championship, I believe, that year. But remember, Florida will always have on that record, our team beat them out here, you know. And then they pull us up in the doggone bowl game. But that team was one of the best teams we've had.
Johnson lofts it deep. Green is behind the defense.
I just remember was that the loss to, that wasn't the loss to Florida, where we had them beat and lost it. That's the thing I remember. Well, that was a game we should have won and lost. The one thing I remember, that's why you better have a second-team quarterback. The Winky got hurt that year, and Marcus came in and won 2 games for us and got us, beat Florida, too. We had a great ball club. Got us to the Fiesta Bowl.
Touchdown! Seminoles!
I think of a perfect team. They had great kicking with Janikowski, great punting with Cottrell, great defense, great offense.
Hello, end zone.
Last year, if we'd have had a kicker, we'd have been about the same. That's all we needed.
An amazing run for Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles. 14 straight years. The dynasty still going.
Fired tonight, but the failures of his kicking game have done just that.
Well, when we talked to him on Thursday morning, he had a well-versed laundry list of things that they had to do, Duke it is, in order to win. Number one, no turnovers. And though they haven't thrown interceptions or laid the ball on the ground, other than that one bad call that went against Florida State, they did have the block pump. Secondly, he said no missed assignments, no silly penalties. Thirdly, lost yardage plays. Had to cut down on the lost yardage plays. They've done a pretty good job of that. But the fourth item, and he underscored this several times in the conversation about limiting the big plays, and they have not done that. The block punt, the muff punt, and then the two big conversions by Maddox on both the reception and the run. And he finds himself down 31-6, just as he unfortunately feared.
I think Carl, if I'm right, is the only offensive coordinator remaining, and he's the head coach, but he's the only offensive coordinator responsibility-wise that returns in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Well, we were
all
talking,
the other schools have left.
When we were talking with Mickey, you know, his eyes rolled in the back of his head because I said, you know, look, every school has a new offensive coordinator, which means everything you knew in the past about a particular ball club has now changed. And as you mentioned, you should see the chaplain Clint Purvis leading out the Florida State folks who, by the way, have to go through 100 yards of practice field to get to the visitors' locker room in order to get back here. It was interesting to hear Mickey talking about, you know, with all the changes on the OC side and Carl Franks being the lone head coach that also calls his plays and serves in that capacity, there's just a lot unknown about the Atlantic Coast Conference offensively as they enter the 2001 season.
Ralph Friedgen, very successful offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, returns to his alma mater today and beats North Carolina. John Bunting up in College Park, very popular figure. Here's Ralph Friedgen back in Maryland. Nick Maddox to lead him out. 2 touchdowns in the first half for the Kannapolis, North Carolina junior. He gets on the play tonight. He won't need wings.
He'll be walking about 4 feet off the ground.
Now, the spirit of Seminole football. We'll have Seminole games for you, showcased here on Sunshine Network throughout the year, and that includes UAB. Next week, you look for inside information on Florida State throughout the year. Well, you can find our own Tom Block and Barry Milligan Monday through Friday with Nextel Florida Sports News. It's weeknights at 10, only on Sunshine Network. They do a terrific job. The end of your workday, your evening. Barry and Tom, Florida.
We're going to have to change the category. We used to call you the hardest working man in sports, but we may have to put you up there with Block. He did the show last night, got on a plane this morning in Tallahassee and flew up and came right to the stadium as you see Coach Bowden making his way to be on the sidelines with us, and he's tired.
Yeah, he's hanging with Bobby on the sideline there. Bobby Bowden, an amazing figure in the fact that his passion for this game is stronger perhaps than ever. I saw an interview earlier today with Joe Paterno, who of course is looking to equal Paul Bryant tonight. The most wins by coaches in history, one shy, and you see it 322, and Joe Paterno at the age of 76, and Bobby 5 years younger. Bobby canceled his European vacations with his wife Ann this summer, saying that he needed more time in the office to prepare for the uncertainties of the ACC year. And get ready for, yes, tonight, as here come the Seminoles and Crow Thorpe on this return. Crow has the sideline. New faces, new ambitions, and the fire still burns for the old man.
He said he was very excited about this year. Didn't know when the last time he had been, might be nervous before a ball game. And I started telling him, well, Coach, just as long as you're not nervous after the ball game, we'll be happy.
He had a right to be nervous after the first quarter. The way things were going, he trailed 6-0. You can imagine what that score sounded like as it resounded around stadiums throughout the United States. It was College Football Saturday. Chris Ricks, Santa Margarita, California. Did move there by Maddox. Near midfield and still churning. A hungry man. He told his teammates that he would love to lay 200 on Duke or anyone from Carolina. An 18-yard pickup here. He's well on his way as he nears 100 yards now. You have to put 18 more on top of that. Get him to 86 on the night. Just interpolate those and a couple of touchdowns. Out he comes, checking in Greg Jones. And off to him. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Good solid shot too by Terrell Smith, the strong safety up. And Greg Jones, as powerful as he is not an easy man to bring down.
Now, Smith from his strong safety position, and Coach Bowden was talking about it with Tommy at the half. Though Duke didn't come with all out blitzes, they were crowding the box, and Terrell Smith is the best of the secondary of getting up quick. You notice he'll line up 3 and 3 and then just move right up, number 25 in blue, and force Greg to stumble a little bit back there, and he picks up only about a half a yard.
Running with 2 tight ends, Patrick Hughes to this side, Carver Donaldson, the other tight end. Out of that formation, he throws behind Atruz Bell, incomplete at the Duke 30-yard line.
He's short-arming the ball, Paul. He's not following his fundamentals as Ricks. He's not stepping, squaring, and throwing. That's why that ball sailed on him when it was behind the receiver. Florida State now going to go with a little bit more wide out. Watch his footwork. Be hard to tell with it right here. He never sets himself, never squares. Now watch the ball. Just the tail end of the ball goes down and it just rotates. You got to hop back there, Chris. You got to take a little hop step, get your momentum going forward, and you'll be able to deliver that ball right on target.
And now the Noles, as we saw them throughout last season, spread the field, 4 receivers. And a back out as well in Davy Jones. And Ricks will take off. Ricks near the first down. Textbook tackle to drive him back to the 45-yard line. That stopped by Jim Shar, number 53. Shar wrapped him up shy of the first down, and off goes Ricks.
Well, this is what will make Daryl Dickey, the quarterback coach, cringe, because Chris doesn't do either getting down or trying to make a move. He's just standing straight up, and he gets leveled by Shar, the 24-year-old former parade All-American, showing you why.
Gwaltney hangs it very, very high. Fair catch called for. Fair catch made by Ronnie Hamilton just outside his 10-yard line. 33-yard punt. Billy Sexton. The other end of that headset would be the quarterback coach and Daryl Dickey. Coach Bowden elects to, as running back coach, his offensive coordinator at field level. Daryl Dickey upstairs.
Yep. Jeff will stay down on the field. You see Billy walking off. Billy's son, starting quarterback for Leon High School as a senior, Wyatt Carroll. He'll be on Sunshine Live and get a little exposure for the Sexton family.
Dad Billy, of course, played at Alabama and then at Florida State. Works for Bobby Bowden, so we know Bear Bryant, Coach Bowden well. In the hole. Running back Alex Wade stood up, driven back. Those are tough yards now. Check in an injury, we understand from Tom.
Yeah, Paul, just an update, nothing serious here, but Charles Howard, who you can see behind me, is not going to, well, he moved out of the screen now, but he's got a bad hamstring. He didn't end up getting the start tonight. Eric Powell played in his place, and Alan Augustin, who is Kendall Pope's backup, has a neck burner. It's not expected that number 40, Alan Augustin, will go back in either in this second half.
Tommy's made a couple of tackles tonight on special teams in particular, and then we saw he may have injured himself on that jarring hit of Wade that caused the ball to come free earlier. There's Charles Howard, a sophomore from Lake Butler, Florida.
Lives on the prison. His family lives at the prison. And he said that if he needed motivation, all he had to do was look out his backyard, and he would see the prison where his stepfather actually works. Says he wants to go into the FBI. I tell you what, I don't want to be a fugitive with him chasing me.
See the 53 on his sleeve as well in honor of Devon Darling. So Tom's feature on Devon, missed by members of the Seminole family. Fumble, loose ball. And Duke has recovered. Referee pointing immediately, Joseph Ryder. Duke is at the bottom of the pile. It's the second time tonight Bryant and his Florida-born center, Sean Lynch, have failed to connect. And off they go, and they're going to surrender this ball now twice deep. They've had punting problems, and this Poorly snapped ball will force that young freshman in his first varsity game, Trey McDonald, a kick out of the back of his own end zone. Best effort so far, 51 yards. He's had one blocked, dropped another that led immediately to a McRae touchdown. Here come the Noles. They get this one. They fall on it. It's another touchdown.
Gennaro Jackson, number 46, right there, alertly on the ball.
2 touchdowns, Keith. Blocked punts. Really a third off a muff.
And if you had to draw it up, those would be the things that Coach Bowden and his staff would love to have happen. I think number 41, Kyler Hall, actually blocked the ball and then recovered by Gennaro Jackson. And the wheels are coming loose.
Saviat Beitia has it in the air, and Florida State owns its 38th point. And the one area that Carl Franks pointed to, the fact that he had a kid kicking for him who'd never been in a varsity game. This is a nightmare for Duke and for Trey McDonald.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire Gem-in-One easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 Health Club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
Hi, I'm Brian Hill, and I'd like to invite you to participate in my 6th annual Drive for a Cure presented by the Pepsi Bottling Group. Enjoy a challenging day of golf at the beautiful Isleworth Country Club and help support a great cause, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Your participation will provide funding for researchers to find a cure for this devastating disease that affects over 30,000 children and young adults. The tournament takes place Monday, September 17th, and spots are filling up fast. For more information, call the number on your...
We would believe that this is a record for Florida State, the fact that they have blocked and scored twice, and really you can add a third one to it. On the road in the ACC, now leading 38-6. Nuclear in terms of the Duke punting game. It's been destroyed tonight. 20-yard line. Chris Douglas out across the 30. Good return for him. Just shy of the 35-yard line for Chris Douglas. Primetime Noles on Sunshine Network, brought to you this evening by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Florida State football on Sunshine with Keith Jones. I'm Paul Kennedy. Tom Block on the sideline. Producer-director tonight, Bill Moore. When the staff votes on its special teams player of the week, they have to have a runoff.
They may be given several awards out.
Numbers on the board like this. All 3 facets tonight, defensively, offensively, and the kicking game coming together. In the flat open, flag in, thrown behind the incomplete pass is Sharp. Chucked by the Empire. Where the quarterback was standing, and that usually is, as Mr. Ryder tells us, holding.
Not good news for an offensive lineman.
So it goes from bad to worse. And that blocked punt, Keith, they came right up the middle.
Both times.
On the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat the down.
Gennaro Jackson credited
with the touchdown. It's been a long... I cannot remember Florida State scoring on 2 blocked punts. I know Florida State's had games in which 3 punts have been blocked or muffed.
May never have happened under Bobby Bowden. We're going to the record book, and we will have that for you shortly. Our research staff is busy. This research institution.
Does that mean I have to look it up on the break?
When we get a chance. Now, Chris Douglas and Duke. You look at the scoreboard. These are primarily youngsters. We tell you about the close to 40 sophomores that is the nucleus of this rebuilding effort at Duke. I mean, rebuilding sounds nice, but it means you're going to take your licks. How do you look at the scoreboard and keep improving? You see those long faces here on opening night for Duke.
Well, you understand that 21 of those 38 points are by things that you can correct. You didn't get outplayed. You had mental or physical breakdowns that can be addressed. So really, the score is sitting there at 17-6. Coach Franks would take that here in the third quarter.
Nice snare there. Good ground by Nick Brzezinski. The tight end runs across the field and up to the 39-yard line. So there is some spark on the completion of the tight end Brzezinski. His very first catch on the night. Michigan native.
Duke does like to go, or did last year, to their tight ends. Mike Hart was their leading receiver, or one of them, with 34 catches. Brzezinski was right behind him with 12. That's the first touch we've seen with him tonight.
It's close to 50 receptions out of your two tight ends.
Florida State, on the other hand, with all three of their returning tight ends, you know how many receptions?
All right.
One.
One time. One catch. And Brzezinski, exceptional numbers. The other tight end in Hart was the all-conference honoree. In the flat this way, juggled and held on to by Love for a first down. And he drags Abdul Howard to the sideline. First down for Duke.
Nice delivery by Bryant that time. Led his receiver, Love, perfectly. Working on that left-hand side offensively. Florida State defender takes a gamble. That's Tatum. Doesn't come up with it. Reggie brings it down, heads upfield.
And a gain on the play. Cross midfield to the 41-yard line is a good for 19 yards. So 13 yards and 19 yards. Two completions, better than 30. Back-to-back snaps. Back the other way you go. Bryant on the move. Erteljack able to hold on to it. That was the play I think they were trying to run. And went for it on fourth down in the first half. And they were still somewhat in this football game. And didn't work out that way. And a couple of snaps later, Nick Maddox ran out of the end zone.
But Duke is doing what it needs to do, and that's to stay within their game plan, continue to work on the things that they work best on. See, last season, Erteljack did throw a pass.
Florida State brings the blitz. Duke picks it up. Nice play. Incomplete. Nice defensive effort out of Chris Holt. Man coverage over there. If he does not make that play, Brzezinski may run a while.
So you look at it there on your right-hand side as you view it. Chris just hoops his hand right in there and knocks it away. Florida State, as you mentioned on the call, coming with pressure. Chris Hope up to the task.
Why would you bring him on second down, Chief? Why would
second and long? Second and long. It's a good time to bring people because most of the time the offense is in a passing mode.
Now third and long. Sharp under pressure. Pope got to him, batted it into the air. It flutters incomplete, and it's fourth down. Kendall Pope, the linebacker, coming again on third down. And he put heat on D. Bryant.
Bryant does a good job of getting rid of the ball, but potentially offensive pass interference. You see Pope as he tries to go for the ball. And Reggie Love actually pushed Chris Hope out of the way. I'm not sure Chris had an opportunity to get to the ball, but a lot of contact downfield. Some of the Florida State faithful looking for a hanky.
It appears Duke is going to try and convert here on fourth down a second time. Why not? Trailing by more than 30. Usually they put the quarterback on the roll in this situation. Wide side is the near side. Straight drop back. And he throws high. Incomplete for Erteljack. Well, they didn't spread the field. They didn't roll the quarterback, but they do throw incomplete. And on downs, Florida State is back in business offensively.
Well, we see some of the crowd there, Paul. I got a group of folks back in Tallahassee taking in the ball game. They're calling it a kickoff function, but I've been told that it's a kick-out function.
By what?
One of our department heads in the College of Business is stepping down. He knows who he is. We're going to wish him well, and we're still going to ridicule him.
At Florida State.
At Florida State. We're still going to ridicule him every chance we get.
Ricks, three-step drop. On a line for 9, if not 10 to Javon Walker in front of Kenneth Stanford. There are Seminole booster clubs throughout the United States joining us here this evening from Wallace Wade Stadium. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And to Seminole fans and college football faithful throughout the Sunshine State, it's a delight to have you a part of this, which is for Sunshine Network, our 14th season of televising the great tradition of Garnet and Gold football. A handoff from McCray is bulldozed down.
Actually, I think that's Eric Shelton.
That is not McCray. I saw the 5. You're right.
Yep, a big freshman tailback.
Lexington, Kentucky. Kind of a Greg Jones look to his frame, too, isn't he? He resembles Jones.
They're very similar. Gets cut underneath and peeled backwards over the top.
Wow, what a lick by Shar.
Patrick Hughes, number 82, jumping up there because he knows he missed his block.
Well, they stacked that line of scrimmage as due. So Ricks will travel and throw it too far on 3rd down. Intended for Crothor. Out of the flat. 5 different running backs have carried the ball tonight. Florida State as Eric Sheldon gets his first taste of varsity action.
And Fonzo as he makes his way off. Chris just high, as was D. Bryant on that 4th down attempt by Duke on the out pattern.
The shoes don't match, but Gwaltney can kick. Chance. 53-yard effort tonight. This is a tight spiral and another fair catch by Hamilton, standing just inside his 14. That's right on a 40-yard effort out of Chance Gwaltney. He's had a solid effort tonight as he takes over for Keith Cottrell.
Saw Keith's parents in the hotel this morning, Dr. and Mrs. Cottrell. Keith's back in Tallahassee. By the way, any of you have heard the story about Keith? Paulie had his championship rings stolen out of his apartment. Only 9 of them in his 4 years at Florida State.
Bowl rings, championship rings.
They have been returned. So all that we're worried about Cottrell's rings, they have been found by the local authorities.
It'd be difficult to fence those.
Yes, they're a little unique.
Well, Keith Cottrell, the 4-year punter, Florida State. Certainly miss him. There's a smile on his face. D. Bryant now, under center, back in business. Junior quarterback. The time to throw, and he cannot connect. Had a receiver, Terry Sharp, and incomplete. 8 completions tonight for close to 150 yards for D. Bryant, who took over as the starter midway through last season. And, you know, toward the end of the year was really quite a performer. He hit in the North Carolina State game, a contest that Duke nearly won. He connected on 16 consecutive passes, a school record.
Has not thrown an interception in any of the preseason scrimmages that Duke has had.
And not one tonight. Going nowhere. Great penetration. Part of Florida State in its interior. That would include Travis Johnson, another freshman, Sherman Oaks, California. Notre Dame Academy out there. All 6'5", 282 pounds of him. So O.J. Jackson in there as well. And the names may not be familiar as you meet the Travis Johnsons and the like, but the talent, you can be assured, is ever present.
The talent is every bit as good as it's ever been.
They need a dozen on 3rd down to hold on to it. A bootleg for D. Bryant. The defensive ends at this stage of the game may be faster and have more energy left in their tanks than he does. He's been worked over pretty good. Kevin Emanuel, a second time, is able to chase him down.
Well, and remember, too, Duke only going with 7 interior offensive linemen, the starting 5 and then 2 substitutes because of injuries and the like. And Florida State rotating those defensive tackles, nose guards, and defensive ends, trying to keep fresh people in there. This is the time of the game, as you see that bunch take a blow on the sidelines. This is the time of the game when that starts to weigh heavily at the point of attack.
Florida State has blocked 2 and scored twice. This time, McDonald gets it away, and it bounds and rolls out of bounds, and a facetious cheer from the Duke faithful as it rolls harmlessly into the Florida State sideline. And for Bobby Bowden, so many of his star receivers not in uniform tonight, injured. With more on that, here is Tom.
Guys, in talking with the team doctors down here for Florida State, Anquan Boldin's surgery is set for Tuesday. That's when they'll go in and just scope him, and if it turns out it is, in fact, a torn ACL, they'll go ahead and repair it right then. Anquan not on this trip. Originally, it was thought that he would be. So Tuesday is the day, but they are expecting that it will be a completely torn ACL, and he'll be done for the year.
He's out for the year, as is Robert Morgan. Two terrible losses for Florida State. Here is Anquan on the frustrations of that injury.
Well, you know, I was able to walk on it, able to bend my knee and everything like that. But, I mean, this is the last thing I wanted to hear. But like I said, it happened. Like I said, God has a plan for everything. So right now it's for me to find out that plan.
Sometimes it's almost impossible to see that plan, but disappointment pretty evident.
Certainly hard to understand it occasionally, but a very mature Anquan Boldin. I'm sure there's no question he'll bounce back from that.
Here is Ricks, who bounced back. An inconsistent start, and now hurdles into the air. Inside the 35, head over heels to the 33. You know, they've taken out hurdling this year. It's no longer illegal. You can do that. And, well, Ricks way upstairs.
Well, that'll be the last time he does it when Coach Daryl Dickey gets through with
well,
him.
It was twice tonight. You know, he takes on Shar, the linebacker, and oohs and ahs here.
See that little white line over there, Chris? Cross it. Move to the right, because you're not going to last an entire season at this level doing stunts like that.
The Russian judge gave him a 9.5.
Well, it's because his feet got over on the entry.
The Goodwill games are in Brisbane. Wow, what an athlete.
Jeff's going, don't do that no more.
He swallowed hard. Can you imagine? What in the heck was that? Flush, now stands up, swings it downfield for Crow, touchdown! Quafanzo Thorpe from Chris Ricks. Touchdown, Florida State.
Now that's how you use your mobility, Paul, not trying to get 3 extra yards at the end of an 8-yard scramble, but to use your quickness, your footwork to elude a would-be sacker and then get the ball downfield to your receiver. There's the feast and famine of a freshman quarterback. Stupid idiot play prior, great athletic decision second time.
Ricks to Thorpe. That's the first touchdown pass for Ricks to a wide receiver. He had one to Nick Maddox out of the backfield earlier. Thorpe, his first varsity score. Yes, new faces in familiar places. The end zone for Florida State, and in terms of the scoreboard, number 16 has Florida State up 45-6. Oh, this is beautiful.
It's one of the NFL's most intense rivalries. Sunday, September 16th, the tradition continues. It's the Dolphins versus the Bills in the season home opener. See the Dolphins battle their division rivals and receive a free team calendar. Great seats is still available, but they're going fast. Don't miss your chance to be a part of it. Miami Dolphins, the tradition continues. Tickets at the stadium box office, Ticketmaster. Buy online or call 305-573-TEAM.
Hi, I'm Lori Farkas, and this is Dish Network FYI. MTV2 is moved to America's Top 50 package at no additional charge. AT100 customers and AT150 customers will not change. You'll still continue to receive this great channel, but now AT50 customers get in on the great music too. MTV2 plays music hit videos 24 hours a day. You'll find MTV2 on channel 161. For Dish Network FYI, I'm Lori Farkas.
A little short on entertainment? How would you like a non-stop joyride?
I'll take it.
How about guaranteed exhilaration?
I'll take it.
Showtime Unlimited gives you 200 exclusive movies every month, guaranteed. 50 very original shows, guaranteed. 10 channels, just $10.99.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You'll get it. You'll get it. Call now for the best value on Dish Network.
I'll take it.
Guaranteed.
I'll tell you what.
What?
I'll take it.
The network that's first in Florida sports. You're watching Sunshine Network.
Crowthorpe, Crofanso, Crowthorpe, receiving end of a 33-yard score. And Duke will elect to bring it out to the 20-yard line on a long kickoff by Jesse Stein. First head over heels, and then he has everyone on their feet. Does was Chris Ricks.
Well, as we mentioned, feast or famine, good decisions, bad decisions. Coaches hate this. That's a bad decision. Then he's going to come right back and use that same athleticism to make a good decision. The only critique on this is he throws flat-footed, but with his arm strength, I'm not sure it matters from this close. And a great adjustment by Tharp to get inside. Rufonso doing a great job of getting inside in order to make himself available for the ball.
Here's more from Tom.
Guys, I think Chris Ricks is going to be done for the night. He's getting some photographs taken of him right now. But number 5, Adrian McPherson, is starting to warm up. So we might get our first look at the Mr. Basketball and Mr. Football in the state of Florida last year. AD, as he's known, when FSU gets the ball back.
Dee Bryant connects to Brzezinski all the way out to the 40-yard line to his tight end. Their first out. And there is McPherson with the last-minute instructions upstairs waiting to go in.
Florida State with a number of second-team defensive players out there, and Dee Bryant doing a good job of getting the ball downfield to Brzezinski as you see AD getting ready on the sidelines.
Chip Ferguson's number. Chip, the last freshman, played at Florida State as a quarterback as a freshman. That was later in the year, though, if I remember. He wore number 5. That seems like forever ago. It was about 1985 or so. Amazing performance tonight by Chris Ricks. He and his dad, they were being besieged by recruiters all over the nation, and picked up the phone his junior year and called Bobby Bowden and said they had an interest in visiting Florida State. Came out there, and in his junior year, committed to FSU.
Committed to Florida State on National Signing Day when he was a junior, not even eligible. And as we watch this play unfold, Bryant back to pass. What's even more unusual is he and his dad took that trip, Paul, on their own nickel. Florida State never, I don't believe, brought Chris in on an official recruiting trip that they paid for.
Here are the Notre Dames and the USCs and the great powerhouses of the world out there trying to attract his attention, and he has his eyes on Florida State the whole way. Wonderful story. And be honest, as Seminole fans, are you breathing a lot easier at the moment now that you're seeing Chris Ricks perform? I think he is. See the smile on his face?
We saw his numbers, just 8 of 17, 126 yards, but those are not bad numbers for a freshman.
Now Dee Bryant, impressive at times tonight, but facing third down here. Throws, juggled, dropped by Alex Wade out of the backfield. And those offensive linemen in front of Dee Bryant, bless them, they've been out there battling Florida State tonight, but they're thin up front, and I think they're getting tired. And it's harder and harder to keep Florida State from coming off the edge.
Well, we mentioned that on the last series. Florida State, Odell Haggins, the defensive line coach, rolling in people. You see Carl Franks there on the sideline. Florida State will play 9 or 10 defensive down people, and Duke can only counter with approximately 7 that are ready to play tonight.
This has been the most exciting play in the stadium this evening. Duke attempting to punt, which has resulted in 3 Florida State touchdowns. Here come the Noles again, hungry after this one. McDonald gets it off. Running up the field, and the ball is bobbled. Florida State falls on it. It's Rufus Brown that pounced on it.
PK Sam back there in Nick Maddox's normal position. You see Rufus get on the ball. We have a flag down. I don't know if the Duke defender will be ruled to have been within that 2-yard halo, but not a very good decision by PK that time to try to get it. Rufus covers his mistake.
Again, the referee tonight, Joseph Ryder, coming our way. And interference on Duke. It's curious because the ball had hit the ground, which you would think would free.
Interference with the opportunity. 2-yard belt violation. 5 yards on the kicking team. First down.
PK Sam had an opportunity at it. The ball bounded, I thought. And the Duke defender there was contesting Rufus for what looked to be a free ball. Well, be that as it may. Here's Adrian McPherson, a freshman who figures very prominently now in the quarterback position at Florida State. His first snap. Give it straight ahead. Backfield to Eric Sheldon. They call him AD at Florida State. Only 3 weeks into a Seminole career, a true freshman who arrived in August on campus in Tallahassee.
I asked Jeff Bowden last night, I said, well, do you consider AD a baby? He said, yeah, he's been here 3 weeks. He's an infant.
This is Jeff Bowden now. Well, he's a lean quarterback. He stands 6'3", but to still rail thin at maybe 175 pounds. But he can run. The toss swing. Pick his way through. Not much running room for Eric Sheldon. Mac Zielinski, nose guard. 35 there in the middle on that second down stop.
Well, you talk about gaudy numbers. McPherson had 3,727 yards passing, including 42 touchdowns, and another 765 yards rushing his senior season. And I didn't even write down his basketball numbers. I think they were something like 24 or 28 points a game.
No, you're shy there.
I undershot him?
Yeah, about 10 points a game.
My bad. I apologize, AD.
A phenomenal athlete. Bradenton Southeast High School. Works out of the gun, hunting his first varsity completion. Flag in behind him, so he's going to run. Now, he is fast. We told you that. And he stumbles what appears to be the first down. But it may very well come back on a holding call, and that's the case. So,
well, all that means is we'll get to see another something.
He can improvise.
AD slotted to join Steve Robinson and his basketball club at the conclusion of the football season. Just that impressive on the hard court as he is on the football field.
On the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot, repeat third down.
Mike Krzyzewski's here tonight with Cameron. Not all that far away. And Mike Krzyzewski might be checking him out. You say that McPherson, remember how fast Charlie Ward was? I'm not comparing him to Charlie Ward who won the Heisman, other than the fact that they say the way he scrambles, at least in practice, he has better scoots than Charlie does. I don't know if he has the instinct for it, but just in terms of foot speed.
Better foot speed, maybe better quickness.
Play action. Oh boy, did he crank this one. Going deep for Crows. Bumped out of bounds. Could have been a flag there. The 42-yard line of Duke. No flag coming. Ruled uncatchable. How about that for an arm on Adrian McPherson?
It's about 52, 53 yards on the fly. Play action fake. Looking at Crow the entire way. Pumps, 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 and then lets her fly.
Whoa.
Tail in there, a little bit of contact. Ball potentially ruled uncatchable, I guess is what the side judge is signaling.
Gwaltney drives Hamilton back to his 31-yard line. Here he comes. Hamilton popped one last year in Tallahassee. He's got a shot here around Gwaltney. And brother, he has done it 2 years in a row to Florida State. He just went 50. Make that far more than that. It's closer to 70 for Hamilton. A 50-yard punt, a 70-yard return.
Well, you can say one thing about Duke with Ronnie Hamilton returning punts and Chris Douglas returning kickoffs. They've got a kick/punt return team. 84-yard punt return for a touchdown last year for Ronnie in Tallahassee. He adds to that here tonight.
Well, the history major at Duke has a history with Florida State, and history has repeated itself here with Hamilton. He goes officially 68, we're told, following that punt. Extra point is good. For the first time since the first quarter, Duke has something to cheer about. Hamilton, a 68-yard jaunt through the broken field. And it's 45-13 FSU over Duke.
It's a non-conference matchup when the Noles welcome the UAB Blazers to town to show them our style of Southern hospitality.
Alabama, Birmingham, FSU, next Sunday at 7 on Sunshine.
Is your cartridge out of ink? Don't replace it. Refill it with the Universal Inkjet Refill System. It works with all inkjet printers or fax cartridges for only $5 per refill. Fill the injector with ink from the bottle and insert it into the cartridge. That's it. Place your cartridge back in your fax or printer. Universal works with any make, model, inkjet printer or fax.
I have a home business, and it used to be such a hassle for me to run out and get a replacement cartridge. Now I have the Universal Refill Kit. It's so easy and inexpensive.
and it's there when I need it.
Order your refill kit for just $19.95 to refill your cartridge up to 4 times. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll get 50% more ink free. Enough for 6 cartridges, a $180 value for $19.95 when you do it yourself with our refill system. And ask about our Color Inkjet refill kit.
To order the Universal Inkjet refill system, call 1-800-592-2100 or send a check or money order to the address listed.
The bell rings. Get ready. Put 'em up. And keep your eyes on the prize. Tune in to find out who will get the chance to do the victory dance. Roy Jones Jr. presents Tuesday at 8 on Sunshine.
Still some fight in these Blue Devils. Still have those pitchforks out. They have stung Florida State on a 68-yard punt return. Ronnie Hamilton, the senior, done it to FSU consecutive years. Did it in Doak. Now here Wallace Wade a year ago. On the return, Nick Maddox. Far sideline. 30-yard line. Taken down 33-yard line for Nick. There is a knack to returning kicks in the open field. Either you have it or you don't. What is it that you see? Is it reactions, quickness?
If I knew what it is or was, I'd figured out and trained somebody with it. I think it's as much instinct as it is anything. And the ability to work in the open field, I think the quintessential person to do that, of course, is Deion Sanders. And the ability to know how to set blocks up, where to find creases, where to find lanes. I'm just not sure you coach that, Paul. You can coach the technique of it and how to get in position to do it, but the execution of it, I think, is a God-given ability.
See how A.D. Adrian McPherson executes in this, just his second series as a Seminole. Caught on the short route to Maddox out of the backfield. Nick picks his way up to the 41. Maddox had a terrific night tonight, one to remember. Maybe a former wide receiver. That's his second reception. Scored a couple of touchdowns, running the ball. Triple threat, really, because he returns kicks. Nick Maddox. 4-receiver formation, and Florida State's going to a little more complex with its playbook here. McPherson, roll, he gets a peel-back block. Throws to Crow for the first down. Contact behind him. I think that was William McCray that turned around and whacked a Blue Devil pretty solidly.
Well, on the design blue, if the personal protector comes out, Paul, and there's no one to block, as you see McCray come out, if there's no one to block, then he's going to peel back inside and catch some trailer. And that's exactly what Willie did that time, and they were able to convert the first down.
Well, first down for McPherson.
Blitz. And he got away. He got away at midfield and cruises across the midfield stripe to the 49-yard line. All right, right now, A.D. is ahead of Chris in the fact that he knows what a sideline's for.
Well, nicknames, among others, are Pretzel. And he was pretzeled here. Bobby Bowden saying, how did he do that? We're coming at him off the edge.
Well, maybe that's some of that magic we haven't credited him for, a.k.a. Charlie Ward. Maybe he does have it. We used to see Charlie do those types of miraculous escapes.
Yeah, boy.
Too young to tell if he's going to be of a Ward caliber, but good start.
On second down, shotgun snap. Those feet moving, carrying downfield, slinging. That should have been caught by Nick, and Maddox knows it. Would have been good for a first down all the way downfield at the 25, and it hit him right between the 2 and the 0. It's the end of the third quarter. A game that has been dominated tonight by the 9-time reigning champions of the Atlantic Coast Conference in FSU.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire Gem-in-1 easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
They say players feed off the crowd. Welcome to All You Can Eat. Jaguars football. Go all out. Order your tickets to the action now by calling 633-2000.
Win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Florida State with McCray on the receiving end of this broken improvisational play from Adrian McPherson as we open the fourth quarter, a tad early, but we're here in the final period of this first game of the year from Wallace Wade Stadium on the campus of Duke University in Durham. Sunshine Network along with you. I'm Paul Kennedy, Keith Jones, Tom Block on the sidelines tonight. Tom has managed to stay dry down there, missed it earlier. Then he got lost in the Maddox family gathering of about 40 people.
I think he got some food, though. I think they snuck some of their picnic in, and Tommy was partaking.
Yeah, the moms are here tonight. A large majority of this crowd, to be honest with you, are Seminole faithful that remain at Wallace Wade. The Duke crowd filtered out early in the third quarter. Florida State had laid the wood to them. Here comes Greg Jones. Down to the 25-yard line. He may be the strongest running back of that fleet of ball carriers. And you see the biceps on him. 6, I don't know if that number quite fits him, but this is a powerful man, and the young sophomore Greg Jones.
Very, very fast to be as large as he is. The only criticism so far in his early Florida State career is he's been banged up. He's had nagging types of injuries that have prevented him from getting the types of reps that he needs in order to get better.
Playing behind Travis Minor and Jeff Chaney last year. McPherson with running room. Our statistician tonight, Gary Whaley, is a graduate of North Carolina and, of course, Chapel Hill, but minutes away from Durham. And Matt Doherty, in terms of football or in basketball, wanted him desperately, and they were willing to put together a package deal that he would play basketball for Carolina and football, too. It just didn't happen.
Right, and you see the savvy of AD, just the way he carries himself and knowing where the sideline was. He got out that time as Jeff Bowden looks on. He was able to get down in a slide to protect himself. Very, very much aware of his surroundings. Very mature to be just a freshman.
Has him on the move. Burn him down. Dip here, and Jones lowers that head. Keeps his feet going. Look how strong he is to find the end zone. No fewer than 7 Blue Devils took a shot at him. And from 16 yards away, Greg Jones has still another Seminole touchdown on the board, and the Noles sail past 50 points tonight.
Well, Duke had a corner blitz on us. The corner had moved right in, either Stanford or Hamilton, and we'll get a chance after the PAT, hopefully, to see it. And Greg just absolutely ran by him and then ran through 3 or 4 other would-be tacklers, and that's a classic example of why Billy Sexton and the rest of the offensive staff are so high on number 6, Greg Jones.
Xavier Beitia on to add the extra point. That's through the air. That is good. The 7th extra point tonight for Xavier Beitia. What a freshman debut it's been for him, too. Hard-nosed running, old-fashioned football here in Wallace Wade Stadium by the sophomore in Greg Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
The RE/MAX Miracle Challenge Stock Car Race is scheduled for Saturday, October 20th at Oviedo Marketplace. Experience the excitement of racing your own miniature NASCAR-style race car and race team, complete with pit crews, pit stops, tire changes, and electronic timing. RE/MAX Miracle Challenge is an excellent way to build team spirit and support Shands Children's Hospital and Arnold Palmer Hospital. Call the Greater Orlando Children's Miracle Network to enter your race team today and join the race to help hospitals help kids.
They say the grass is always greener on the other side.
You're a credit to capitalism, Jack.
But if you're Jack Campbell, you're about to find out the hard way.
You just remember that you brought this on yourself.
In The Family Man, this month on pay-per-view.
Good Lord. God, you're beautiful.
Order it this month on Dish On Demand pay-per-view for a chance to make your life greener. After the credits, watch for the key to $20,000 to spend however you choose and enter the Family Man sweepstakes at universalppv.net or play the online game to enter.
ESPN Game Plan is maximum college football from Dish On Demand. More than 100 games from the Big Ten, Pac-10, ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big East, and Mountain West conferences. Order the season package before September 30th, and you'll automatically be entered to win a trip for two to the ESPN College Bowl game of your choice. Call 1-800-333-DISH or 1-877-363-EVNT. Game Plan College Football, baby. Ow. Oh, yeah.
Home to the Florida State Seminoles. And first in Florida sports, Sunshine Network.
Halfway to 100 early in the fourth quarter, 52-13. FSU, Chris Douglas. Right up the hash to the 30-yard line. Greg Jones has just scored for Florida State its 7th touchdown of this game. Xavier Beitia, 7 extra points and a 40-yard field goal. Florida State in command this evening.
Some of the additional Florida State freshmen getting playing time. That's Bryant McFadden, freshman. We're looking to see Dominic Robinson as well.
I feel like on the sideline they ought to have a name tag that says, "Hi, I'm Brian McFadden," or something.
That's what they do with the freshmen on their helmets if you've ever been out there.
Freshman orientation today at Duke, and all the young first-year students around here with their name tags on, you know. You're right, they put the white tape across the helmet and write the player's name, and some of the charmers, even the stars, put their names up there too. And seniors, all conference players.
Prior to the snap, offside on the defense. 5 yards, still first down.
A rare penalty for Florida State tonight, just its 5th of this game. It has to be a positive sign. It's Mike Shaw. Thought we'd see him earlier. Mike Shaw now checking in. Jacksonville, the junior.
6'3", 250, and hadn't even been through the weight program yet.
Means that he's going to get bigger. Cadence changed by Bryant. No flag coming this time, and in traffic. The ball is out, and that may have been a catch and then a fumble. And nobody blew a whistle until now. Now the officials blow that whistle. So a little late coming. That's an incomplete pass. Check in with Tom.
Paul, Keith, you guys talking about Florida State going down the line, getting some freshmen and other players playing time. By my count, there's 74 players dressed for this one, and as of about 5 minutes ago, 61 of them had already seen game time. So once again, Florida State, as it always does, flexing its depth against teams that just can't stack up and just wearing them down, guys.
Your math's pretty close, Tom. Actually, yesterday, Bobby Bowden came by and added 2 more players to the travel squad. So there were 76. And we were told, Annie Urbanek telling us, and the travel sheet confirms, made the trip tonight.
Too much time.
Cross Duke 5. There have been positive elements of this game for Duke that the Blue Devils can build on. They're not going to face the 5th-ranked team in the nation each and every week. There are games this season that Carl Franks can win. But you have to execute the fundamentals. You have to play in on time, protect your punter, enable him to get it off. Those basic situations that dissolve tonight.
The one tag they don't like is they will extend the nation's longest losing streak.
Barring the greatest comeback we've ever seen, they will. Here's Erdeljak, and that was very nearly picked.
There's McFadden. You see his athleticism. Out of Hollywood, MacArthur High School, 6 foot, 176 pounds.
Former parade All-American. may have been in the state of Florida, the premier defensive back recruited. And every school in the nation came into the Sunshine State in search of him. Derek Gibson's old number. It takes a while to have accomplished players, All-Americans, All-Conference players. You don't see them in their uniform. You hesitate for a moment here.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, you think of great moments. Tate Cody, Snoop Minnis. Snoop Minnis last night in Kansas City.
What a great game.
Playing for the Chiefs. Still unnatural, though, to see him in an NFL uniform. We wish him well.
You see B.A., Brian Allen, and Tommy Polley both on the same team. And
of course, Florida State with more players currently in NFL camps. Last week, the number was 52. Last season, Florida State with close to 40 on NFL regular season rosters. Of any school in the nation, Florida State is the most playing professionally, including a quarterback who is going to start for a team professionally in this state. When it's all said and done, Chris Weinke, it appears, is one of the Carolina Panthers starting, John, but you're more likely than not know that. Fair catch called for. Fair catch made by P.K. Sam. There you go. 2001 draft picks. What an illustrious class that 3 consecutive years played for the national championship.
Now Snoop is a menace. but
not quite
spelled quite that way.
But we get the picture.
And we talk about Weinke. Let's don't forget about old Brad down in Tampa. He's a little older.
Brad Johnson, of which.
Oh, wait a minute, is he?
Brad Johnson watching tonight.
Brad's 30 or 31. Wink's 29. Maybe he's not that much older.
20 men, millionaires. In the flat, there's Crow. Snoop's old number to the 41, 42-yard line. I'll say this about McPherson, and although he is facing now a beleaguered and tired Duke defensive unit, he plays with an air about him, does Adrian McPherson, a confidence about him.
Well, one of the things that is most notable about basketball players that also excel on the football field is just their ability, their court savvy. He's a point guard by trade, if I remember correctly. And their ability to just see things, and that basketball reinforces his ability to look downfield as a football player and really gives him a lot of savvy in directing things.
Point guard with size. To 6'3", 6'4". Tough running once again, this time by Eric Sheldon, tacking his way to the sideline. And of course, the last Florida State quarterback to run the point is currently employed for the 7th straight year by the New York Knicks.
And I really think that adds so much, not taking anything away from Chris Ricks, but just their ability to perceive and make plays. On the basketball court, you're going to do that, 60, 70 possessions? You're only going to do it 10 or 12 on a football field.
Florida State doing it in a big way tonight. If you're just joining us, Florida State blocked 2 Duke punts and scored on both of them. Duke punter McDonald dropped a third at his own 2-yard line of Florida State after it was kicked around, able to punch it into McCray. Those 21 points, a large chunk of the 52. They're playing the reserves now, and that includes Adrian McPherson. It's down to the 45. Chris Ricks, a couple of touchdown passes tonight. And one of the most remarkable somersaults in the air, and I think Circus Soleil would be envious of that pirouette in front of the Duke bench.
Well, I still think Jeff Bowden and Darrell Dickey would refer to it as the Three Stooges. But be that as it may.
You're just too old school, my friend.
Chris, don't do that no more.
Florida State will come out of this performance with that streak very much intact, of course, ranked in the top 5, trying to do so for the 15th consecutive year. A streak that began when McPherson was all of 3 or 4 years old. That's consecutive double-digit wins, consecutive seasons in the Associated Press top 5, unparalleled the run of 14 years in the history of college football.
Well, here's another interesting statistic for you, Paul, and I may be mistaken, I didn't check it out completely, but I don't think a single Florida State football player on the travel squad has ever played in Wallace Wade Stadium before.
No, because the last time was 97 here, and then they sold their game in 99. Florida State, they moved it to Jacksonville. McPherson on first down after they moved the chains down to the 37. They played that in the Alltel Stadium, the Gator Bowl, was formerly known. McPherson threw the air tonight. He's only missed twice. He's 4 out of 6. He's thrown for 24 yards, and here picking up 3. He's a balance to his game. He's rushed for 25.
couple of design quarterback draws are put in there especially for AD. And Florida State's been operating the entire latter part of the third quarter and all the fourth quarter out of 4 wide shotgun.
Duke shows blitz. Florida State picks it up.
Nice read. Nice read.
To Crow to the 20-yard line. All right, he read it all the way.
Had 2 receivers on that side. The up back in the backfield stepped up and picked up one of the blitzing people. The other blitzer came in free. It'll be looking on the left-hand side. AD picks up the one receiver that's open and delivers the ball right to him. Great read.
And a first down still again after the connection of 17. Connor McPherson, 11 minutes to go in this football game, and Florida State's getting close to scoring 60. He laid 63 on the Blue Devils a year ago. McPherson swings. Ball is held on to. Catch made down to the 10-yard line.
Joey.
And that is Joey Calachini, the most recent scholarship player at Florida State. He earned a battlefield promotion last week in the practice fields of Tallahassee.
He and Josh Baggs, and I'm going to have to check my notes. I forget who the third one was. 3 scholarships awarded. Joey with a nice little pattern and splits 2 defenders to add 4 or 5 more yards on. Very popular amongst his teammates. Just works hard. There's AD's updated numbers.
6 of 8 as he is. And now a second and short. Nudging the ball inside the 10 for the first down. And Charles Porter, number 52, Nate Krill, and a defensive unit that's out there hanging with Florida State. You know, this Florida State team is the only team in the top 10, I think this is right, that will face 3 separate clubs this year on its schedule that are also in that top 10 ranking right now.
They asked Bobby in the preseason, do you mind that Florida and Miami is ranked ahead of you? And he says, no, we play them.
Yeah, they certainly do. Rugged road lies in store for Jeff Bowden and his dad, Bobby. Florida State now trying to convert. Here it is on third down, just shy. They've only done this twice tonight at 10 attempts. Looks like they have it here. So this will be just the 3rd time that they have converted on third down tonight for Florida State. They face Georgia Tech, which somehow slipped out of the top 10 after beating Syracuse. Well, in the AP poll, they're hanging on. But they do face Florida and Miami.
Right there, you see the other top 10 opponents for the other 10 top-ranked teams. James Buchanan actually on the carry in that last play converts the first down. Florida State first and goal from their 9.
10-yard line. Duke. Penetration. Nate Krill, number 83. And they're just getting up. Nate Krill was saying that he thought that Florida State might be overlooking Duke, that they wouldn't be ready. And this towering stork of a player at 6 feet 8 inches tall was right, at least for the 15 minutes of this game tonight.
He was 15 minutes right.
15 minutes of fame and prophecy.
Nate missed all of the 2000 season with shoulder and back surgery. Coming back now as a senior.
And the toss. Outside wide, Sheldon is getting a lot of work here late. As they come at Florida State does at you in waves, and there's no way that you can match their depth here at Duke University. 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 4 different players have caught a pass. Offensive line in rotation, and that's just on one side of the ball.
And you've got the second-team offensive line in there. Josh Baggs over the ball, Bolden and Bobby Meeks on either side. Big Ray Willis, 6'6", 288 pounds, number 77's in there. Alex Barron, number 70, I believe, is on the other side of that second-team unit, at least by the depth chart.
The 12th play of this drive in a moment, because of Florida State in that second-unit offense jumped on the right side. There was movement up front. May have been Milford Brown that moved early. Let's listen in.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5 yards, still third down.
Now, Milford Brown started this game. If that was he that moved, junior college transfer, much heralded. Motion up front, they'll push it back. So here will come the 12th play of this drive, and there's another first game Seminole, Milford Brown, East Mississippi Junior College. Twin tight ends. AD McPherson dips, flings it out of there, got it away in a hurry with pressure coming from Jim Sharp. And he'll have to settle for a field goal. You know who I respect in this? Duke University for fighting for 13 plays down the field. Although McPherson moved Florida State crisply, unable to punch it in. So,
well, if you know anything about Carl Franks, you know that as a player, both here at Duke and in the USFL, and by the way, he was coached at Duke by Spurrier and in the USFL by Steve, you know that he was a fighter as a player. Didn't possess the greatest talent in the world, and of course most football teams take on the temperament of their head coach.
Xavier Beitia good a second time. This from 31. So the Seminoles, double fives on the board. You know, Bobby Bowden, who says if he'd have had a kicker last year, may have won the national championship. Didn't have one like that.
Are you tired of snags, tangles, hook accidents, and lost or damaged equipment? Then you need the Rod Protector from Big Bass Bob. Protecting your valuable equipment is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Transport rods tangle-free with the lures attached. Protect your children and pets. Your rod's fragile tips are also protected. Why waste time untangling instead of fishing? Instantly identify the rod and lure you need, and if a rod ever goes overboard, it floats. Call now, and 2 rod protectors are yours for just $19.99. But wait, call in the next 10 minutes, and you'll get a 3rd rod protector free. That's 3 rod protectors for just $19.99. It's the perfect way to safely store and transport your rod. Your satisfaction is guaranteed.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-450-7722 to order your rod protectors from Big Bass Bob for just $19.99 and get a 3rd one free.
Having just one way to express yourself can be frustrating. That's why Cingular Wireless offers a range of airtime options. Choose 2 and create your own plan. Sign up now and get a deal on a cool Nokia. Cingular Wireless. What do you have to say?
Florida State leading 55-13. We apologize if you've been having some technical problems in your area. Inclement weather around the stadium here, and also some of our other downlink locations in the state of Florida. We appreciate you bearing with us. Florida State up 55-13. Jesse Stein, Air Force cadet, kicks it deep. Here they come. Douglas still on his feet out to the 30-31 line, and a late flag thrown in. A number of head coaches debuting today. We've seen Al Groh at his alma mater, Virginia, last week. This is a holding call on Duke. It's coming back. Jim Grove for Wake Forest takes over for Jim Caldwell. Comes into Wake, and they lead East Carolina at the moment by 2 touchdowns.
A lot of changes, I believe a total of 4. As I talk over Joe Ryder. Sorry, Joe. Total of 4, I believe, head coaching changes of the 9 institutions, and everyone trying to keep up with Florida State.
And George Welsh, the college game lost a lot with his character, knowledge when he left, but now every coach, every university in the ACC has changed since Bobby Bowden arrived in the Atlantic Coast Conference, with the exception of Florida State over the course of 9 years. New quarterback for Duke, firing Adam Smith, and his first pass is completed up to the 25-yard line. The first varsity action from the native of Orinda, California, the freshman and tall Adam Smith.
6'5", 198 pounds, 200 pounds. Stands very upright in the pocket. As you mentioned, seeing his first time, we've not watched any video on him. But he's got all the physical tools.
From Miramonte High School in the Bay Area, San Francisco area of California, Adam Smith slings it. Spark here, Mike Hart. Rarely called a all-conference tight ends name tonight, but that's a first down up to the 35-yard line. In fact, for Mike Hart, the best tight end of the league, takes him to the 4th quarter to catch his first pass.
First reception, had 4 for 69 yards, did Hart last year down in Tallahassee, but he's been overlooked and underutilized. in the 2001 contest. Nice step and delivery by Smith, right on target to Hart. They convert the first down. Duke moving the football.
Luke Bayer, a new center in there. He's a Gainesville, Florida native, number 70. Jamin Pastore on McCary, wrapped up, bulldog down at the 39-yard line by Marcelo Church, a linebacker for Florida State. There is Jamin Pastore. He too a freshman in his debut. Like what you said, overlooked. That might describe Adam Smith, because he was Ken Dorsey's backup in high school out of Marymount High School and didn't play until his senior year. Ken Dorsey, of course, the star of Miami Hurricane football now. I'll have to tell Seminole fans that. Again, Pastore. So overlooked and underappreciated, that might describe Adam Smith. They lure him to Duke University with a lot of ability. He was an all-star out there, wasn't he? Ranked 7th in California's statistics in the high school ranks a year ago. A great year. And now Pastore, undersized at 5'9", a shade under 200 pounds for Carl Franks.
But very well put together for a freshman. Pastore out of Ohio, one of those tough Midwestern kids.
Third down, needing a couple. Smith, flush, here they come. They sack him, he'll lose 8 yards, 9 yards. All the way back inside the 35, Eric Powell, part of the swarm. Travis Johnson, too.
Only the second or third sack that I can recall for Florida State. Both Bryant and now Smith have been sacked. I guess that would make it 2. Florida State comes with a little bit of pressure. Great coverage downfield. Forces Smith out to his right. And Travis and company there to pick him up.
Second sack tonight for FSU. And 4:24 remaining. McDonald tumbles this. P.K. Sands to field it from his 32. Up to the 35, 36-yard line, and the special team stop by Ryan Fowler. Floridian in his own right. Ryan Fowler from Reddington Shores, Florida. Special team stop. 34-yard punt and a 4-yard return with 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. What will be Florida State's first victory of the season?
Well, in a hard-fought victory, in terms of you were sitting here after first 15 minutes of play, you're wondering what in the world's going on as you get a good look at additional people that are making their way into the lineup.
I thought I was the only one wondering what was going on here after what we saw in the first half. Davey Ford tried to bounce it outside, breaks one tackle. Gain of about 5, shoved into the sideline by Micah Harris. Again, Duke led at the end of the first quarter, 6-0. Right on the completed pass, Dee Bryant to Chris Douglas of 78 yards. You know, sometimes teams really echo their coaches and mirror their coaches, and there was so much uncertainty among the staff. You heard the coaches say that. We're uncertain about what we're going to do. This team looked very uncertain when it came out initially. Young quarterback. Close to the first down. Second down. Chad Rice on this stop, following the carry by James Buchanan, his second tonight. First-year player.
Well, is that Buchanan or is that another one of the duplicate jerseys?
You know, that's a very good question you ask here tonight. One of the mysteries of the universe. I think we're going to solve this right now. That's Greg Tony.
Garnet Gold game.
That's the junior from Philadelphia. You're absolutely right. They love him in Philadelphia. Up to the 47-yard line. Now.
Nice tough run that time. Gets a couple of yards, does Tony, to move the chains.
Florida State's about as deep into this traveling party tonight for Billy Sexton there with his arms crossed and Jeff Bowden behind him. It can possibly be. Adrian McPherson tonight. Flashes of brilliance. Davy Jones. They dip back to the line of scrimmage. A lot of scooting around, running around, not to be able to turn that corner. That was Alex Green on this tackle off the edge.
Telman Gardner, I believe, there on the sidelines. We've not seen him this evening.
There's the last position you'd want to have injured. Telman Gardner separated his shoulder. Earlier in the week in practice, Patrick Hughes, the tight end. Excellent blocker for Florida State. Ball. Got to do that. PK Sam just dropped it.
PK not off to a good start. Remember, had the foul up on the punt return. That time he drops the first one thrown to him, and that'll get you in the doghouse in a hurry.
And so standing next to Jeff Bowden, as you see, catch the ball. Receivers were his position.
Jeff was a receiver in high school and in college. His physique, like mine, was a little different, however.
More similar nowadays, though.
Oh, we've always been alike.
You evolved into this. McPherson, he's going to air this out. Going for Crow again. The catch was made, but he was out of bounds.
Great catch.
Came up with the ball, but he was over the chalk, out of bounds. He's got he has an element of sparkle of Snoop to him. And his ability to go and get it.
Reminds me a lot of Ronnie Lewis. Remember Ronnie Lewis?
Fab Four. Can you name the other three?
Bruce Lesane.
Yeah.
Terry Anthony.
Right.
And so-and-so, Mr. and Mrs.
Lawrence Dawson.
Dawson. How do I forget Lawrence Dawson? Lawrence, if you're watching, I'm sorry, man.
I don't know who you are anymore.
I won't even have. I'll have to take a taxi home.
Joe Kimes. Great defensive coach he is. Voice, I'm sure, hoarse tonight, encouraging his troops. Nice punt there, fielded by Hamilton at the 16-yard line. It's a 36-yard effort. Florida State will be loading up on the charter and be home right around midnight in Tallahassee this evening. Smiles on their faces as they'll focus on the second week of the season and their home opener now a week away against UAB out of a conference that's coming on. Conference USA. Watson Brown, the innovators in offensive football. This one, as you can tell by the crowd, has been over for a while. 55-13, 2 minutes to go. Adam Smith under center. Raymond Pastore. Curious about Jim Grove, the head coach at Wake Forest. You mentioned Pastore, a tough guy out of Ohio. Grove, in coming to Wake Forest, ran a hard-nosed program at Ohio University. They ran the option a lot. Ball control tonight on East Carolina. It'll be interesting to see. We can build upon what Jim Caldwell did there. They won a bowl game a couple of years ago. And do what Wake is capable of doing. You know, play within their parameters this year. New coaches everywhere. Just in his third year, Carl Franks here with the new freshman quarterback who hangs Pastore out there, doesn't he?
Not a lot Pastore can do on that but catch the ball and grit his teeth. Both backs were flushed straight up in the line and then both took out routes, and Smith chose to go to the left.
And Jerome Carter. This stop, of course, Carter already a huge night tonight with a blocked punt with his right hand, scooped it up with his left. Was standing in the end zone. Touchdown. Jerome Carter.
Took me 4 years to do that. He did it as a freshman.
First game wearing that fabled number 23, the occupant of that jersey. Pretty accomplished in years gone by. Into the flat for Sharp. Of course, Travis Minor. Once again, we apologize for some of the problems we've had technically this evening. Here, some of the weather in the area. We're in Wallace Wade Stadium. Pay-per-view tonight on Sunshine Network. Durham, North Carolina. Florida State has once again gone on the road and won, and now it will return home to put for Bobby Bowden the longest home winning streak in the nation on the line, as well as the longest continuous streak without a loss. I mean, it stands at 52 games now at Herb Campbell Stadium. Smith, long down the boundary and nearly picked on the far side of the field. Overshot his intended target out that way in Centuria Landrum. And defensively for Florida State, there was Ronnie Robinson. Everybody has played in this game this evening.
And that kid right there has got superstar written all over him.
California native?
Yes, sir. In fact, Deion Sanders was in camp about a week and a half ago and was visiting with all of the defensive backs, the entire team, in fact. And Robinson went up to him and said, I'm going to be you. I want to be like you. And you saw a good, what we used to call flop of the hips and turn outside, as you see Joe Ryder talking about, or hear Joe Ryder talking about another penalty.
The thing about Deion that he could emulate was the fact that and we were on the air at Sunshine Network together when Deion was playing at Florida State. The Nole players will tell you, and his legacy is, no one worked harder.
No one worked harder
than Deion Sanders on the practice field. No one had more of a commitment to football, and that's why he was respected. Not only did he perform on Saturdays brilliantly,
and the reason he performed brilliantly is he got himself ready during the week.
Phenomenal focus. And he joined us. I remember that in New Orleans. He came up in the booth, had the sunglasses on.
And he liked you better than me. I remember that.
Well, there was a good reason for that, I think. Just a great big hit there on Pastore. And Pastore may be out cold as the ball rolls over the sideline. He is shaken up as this game comes to an end. Not a good note on which to end this, the opening game of the year, and concern right now for Jamin Pastore, who took a hard shot from Carter to just polish off what is for Bobby Bowden his 316th career win. And Florida State has won in Wallace Wade 55-13. Had Carl Frank's punting game been more sound tonight, this score would have been different. Florida State would have won, but it may have scored in the 20s rather than in the 50s.
Well, in a game, of course, that Florida State was heavily favored. A game in which Duke didn't have the greatest chance in the world to even be competitive. And they come out in the first quarter and go toe-to-toe with Florida State. And as you mentioned, if not for breakdowns in the kicking game that allowed things to unravel, would have had a final score much more respectable for Carl Franks and his ball club.
And if Jamin Pastore is a family watching, he is sitting up now and he appears to be all right. Let's check in with Tom and Coach Bowden.
All right, thanks, Paul. Coach, there was probably more anticipation for this game than any season opener in a long time. Now that you've played it, what are your thoughts about what you got?
Well, I sure am glad we played it. I don't know anything we needed more. That score is very deceiving up there. But I learned a lot of things today that we can't do that we're trying to do. And I see some things that we can do that we didn't do. So I think we're going to learn. It was a very ragged win, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we could have, when we started that, you wondered who was going to win the game. I think they threw some stuff at us early in the game that Oklahoma threw at us last year, and we had a little hard time solving it.
Chris Ricks' performance in his first start?
I thought it was good. If he couldn't have thrown, we were having a pretty hard time. We were trying to run, but they were just bringing everybody up there. We couldn't get the bonnet on the right guy, and thank goodness he could throw.
Coach, the kicking game tonight, well, really all the special teams. You block some punts, you get a kicker that comes in and kicks field goals and extra points. It looks like that's definite upgrade.
Did we have a punt run back for a touchdown?
Well, against you, yeah, but I mean...
Didn't 20 get one, or did he?
That was on a long run. Nick Maddox's touchdown run.
That wasn't a dead gun.
But the field goal kicker was looks like that's an upgrade.
Yeah, it is definitely an upgrade. We didn't miss a single kick. And again, I see so many things that we can build off of this game, because this was a very ragged win.
You feel better now than you did 3 hours ago before?
Much better to win this. I really wouldn't have cared. Before the game, if you'd have told me we're going to win by 3 points, I probably would have taken it, because I really just didn't know what this team was going to do. But I can see potential. We're still a team of potential. They're not even close to where we need to be.
Well, enjoy the win. Get back to the drawing board for next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Bobby Bowden. Paul, back upstairs.
Bobby Bowden now, his ACC record, 71 wins. This is the 71st, only a couple of losses, entering his 10th season. 9-time reigning champions of the ACC.
Inside, outside, from the driver's side. 120 minutes covering the best in auto racing. Strap yourself in each week. The Discount Auto Parts 120 on Sunshine Network. Rugged, tough, the Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse. And so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, You need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
To you, it's a PC, but to your kids, it's a laboratory, a museum, or a rainforest. The compact Presario 5000T with Intel Pentium 3 processor. It's a place where your child can explore a world of ideas. And it's just $839. Call 1-800-332-1780 today and get a free compact printer and $50 instant rebate. Hey, why just take your kids to school when you can take them farther than they ever dreamed?
Why do we call them steak burgers? Because we can. This is what our original steak burger looked like in 1934. Who says they don't make them like they used to? Why do we slice our pickles the long way? Why do we slice our pickles the long way?
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Can you say pigskin? It's time to get down and dirty with the Dodge Florida High School Champion Series. Tallahassee Lincoln battles Tallahassee Gandhi, Friday at 7 on Sunshine.
Big coming out party for Chris Ricks. He's with Tom.
Paul, Chris, there's a lot of anticipation. Obviously, redshirt freshman making your first start. How do you feel now that you've got one in the books and you got to win?
Feels good, you know, to come out in the first game. Did some okay things, got a lot to improve on, but to get that first game under my belt feels good, and you know, definitely to get the win. You know, that's our ultimate goal. So we just go on, build from here, and get ready for UAB next week.
Tough first quarter for Florida State. I mean, were you thinking what's going on, or did you know that it would come?
Yeah, I think it just took us a little while to you know, to get the tempo, get the momentum going, but you know, hopefully next week we can start off first drive on that. So I knew it would come, though. I knew we'd get in our groove, and that we'd get to putting points on the board.
You got a round of applause from the Seminole fans, but you probably got a big sigh of relief from the coaching staff on that flip you did over on the sideline. Tell me about when you were heading over to the sideline. You got pretty good vertical there.
You know, I know I'm going to hear from the coaches, stay on the ground. You know, I heard it when I got to the sideline. You know, they don't want me to get hurt, but, you know, I was just trying to get that first down. I just need to learn how to slide and be a little more safe. But, you know, like I said, I was just trying to get that first down and get those extra couple yards, but I'll learn from there.
Final question, you had 2 touchdown passes tonight. Tell me about the last one. Kind of flat-footed, but you still had enough on it to get it out there to Crow.
Yeah, as soon as I came around with the play action, there was a guy come off the edge on the blitz. I had to avoid him, and I knew Crofonzo would get by his guy, and I just put it out there, and he came in and made a great catch. So it's a good game by him, good first game.
Good game for you as well. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, Chris Ricks picks up win number 1 as the Seminole starter. Let's get Nick Maddox in here, too. Nick returns to his home state. Nick, you know, when you came out of high school in North Carolina, it was not the popular choice for you to leave the state and go to Florida, but I guess it's worked out for you. Tell me about coming back, getting your first start, and scoring a couple times tonight.
It's great to come back home and actually get my first start and to have such a great game. You know, but the biggest thing for me is coming in here, I knew Coach Bowden had a lot of confidence in me, and that meant a lot to me because Coach Bowden seen the best and he's seen the worst. And for him to come in here and start me and expect me to get the things done that I got done, it means a lot to me. And it made me want to get the job done, not only for him, but for my teammates.
What do you think about what the offense showed tonight? It took a little while for you guys to get on track. I mean, I know they were blitzing at you in second quarter, kind of the defense, special teams woke you up. What kind of promise does this offense have, especially the running game?
That we're growing. With every snap, we're going to get better and better. And with every snap, we're going to gel more and more as a team. Nobody could actually come out here and expect us to be perfect. I didn't. You know, I mean, really, I was surprised that first play went for 8 or 9 yards because we simply hadn't had the game experience and had the time to gel as a team and the game experience. But in the practices, we had plenty of time, but it's just no comparison to a game. So I think the most important thing was for us to get this first game under our belts and just come out here and try to do the best that we could do and not get you know, flustered if the other team came out here and scored first, or even if they would have had the lead at halftime. I think it was a big key that we just kept our composure and tried to get the job done.
All right, well, congratulations on a couple of touchdowns as you return to the Tar Heel State. We gave your mom some TV time, so she's quite proud of you. Enjoy the win, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, Nick Maddox from the state of North Carolina, all-time leader in touchdowns here in the state of North Carolina. Well, I think that record's about to go down, but nevertheless, nice debut or a nice return for Nick. Paul, Keith, back upstairs to you.
Yeah, went 51 on that touchdown gallop, and Florida State scores 55 tonight, 55-13. Look at the final numbers right after this from Wallace Wade Stadium.
Rugged, tough, the Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse, and so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
Great vacation moments are registered every day in Florida. See for yourself. Now that you've seen part of what we have to offer, ready to make some moments of your own? Great moments, great vacations. Florida. Call now for your free Florida Vacation Guide. FLA USA.
Water. Its magic lies in its ability to alter shape and form. Not surprisingly, water is the ultimate symbol for change. How appropriate. Greater Fort Lauderdale, home to so much water, is also home to so much change. Immerse yourself.
Home to the Atlantic Coast Conference and first in Florida sports. Sunshine Network.
Bobby Bowden said it best. This score deceiving. For Florida State scores 3 touchdowns off of special teams miscues. 2 blocked punts. And then a muff on a third, 21 of those 55. And a look at the total yardage here. Well, Duke had its moments tonight, Keith, and put 226 yards on the board, but Florida State wins it handily.
Well, a couple of things stand out at me. Number one, more rushing yardage than passing yardage. That hasn't happened very often. And second of all, and I've talked about it all game long, time of possession. Florida State with 9 minutes more possession time than the Duke Blue Devils, and one of the things that this running game, as they continue to improve upon it, will do is help with that ball control. The 1 turnover, as we mentioned, very deceiving because the 2 blocked punts actually get credited as punt returns.
Yeah, but a win is a win is a win.
Bobby said it best. If you had given him a 3-point victory before kickoff, he'd have taken it and gone home.
Bobby Bowden has gone on the road and won again. We'll return to Wallace Wade to wrap it up and preview, as Chris Ricks was saying, a home opener in Doak Campbell Stadium against UAB. That just ahead.
Come on. There he is. That a baby. Come on, go. Woo! Yeah, that a baby. Way to go. Woo! Yes! Knowles win. Touchdown, Knowles. Yes! Woo! Go Knowles. Come on.
Primetime Knowles. Watch it again. Primetime Knowles. Sunday nights at 7 on Sunshine.
When Discount Auto Parts hired me as a spokesperson, I figured they wanted me to help drive their sales. But with over 700 stores and thousands of parts in each one, that ain't all I'm driving.
Come on, Martin, let's go. Move it. Move it.
Discount Auto Parts. The right part, right away.
Stop by Discount Auto Parts and get Valvoline motor oil for just $1.09 per quart.
Discount Auto Parts. Do it yourself and save.
Sunshine Network's formidable fall lineup: Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, Florida State Seminoles, Florida Gators, UCF Golden Knights, Florida Atlantic Owls. For complete Florida football coverage, turn to Sunshine Network.
Miami Dolphins Magazine, the inside track to all the latest news surrounding the Fins. Each week we'll take you into the huddle, onto the sideline, and into the locker room for behind-the-scenes access to the Miami Dolphins. With features, highlights, interviews, and analysis, Sunshine Network is your first stop for in-depth coverage of the Fins. So don't miss Miami Dolphins Magazine every Monday night right here on Sunshine Network.
Miami Dolphins Magazine, Mondays at 8 on Sunshine.
Well, they're still selling cinnamon rolls. Sweet Tooth.
Save me one.
I thought so. I thought so. Here tonight, this one tasted sweet. 55-13. Florida State all over Duke University in the season opener for both teams. Time to select our Steak and Shake play of the game. Which way would you go? Defensively, offensively? How about special teams?
Well, I think special teams wins it hands down. This is one of Florida State's 2 blocked punts that they recovered for touchdowns. Actually recovered this one for a touchdown, ran the other one back. And what an exciting time for Florida State, and particularly for Kyler Hall as he gets his first big play as a Seminole.
Florida State with a couple of touchdowns off blocked punts tonight. All in all, a big night as we check in one final time with Tom.
Paul, Keith, I think looking at the field here as the game's over, I think Florida State should be happy they got what they wanted, and no serious injuries. They get a win. Chris Ricks wasn't spectacular, but he was good enough. The running game needs some work, but all told, it's a first game, it's a first win, and they move on from here. This is obviously going to be a team that grows by leaps and bounds as the season goes on. Should be pretty healthy, though, as they return to Tallahassee for next week's home opener. Guys, it was fun. We'll do it again next week.
Absolutely, Tommy. You got to tell Nick Maddox's mom to pack something sweet as she comes down there. A little chocolate chip cookies, maybe some pie, and she drives those 12 hours now down to Duke. We'll be there for UAB, and Florida State will be going after its second win of the season.
And one of the things that Florida State will be looking to is continuing to build, as Tommy mentioned, on the momentum. You know, they say in football, you make your greatest strides from game 1 to game 2, and this is a Florida State team that has shown great potential. And if they can build upon that and continue to do well in maturing, this is a team that, though everyone came into the ball game and into the season wondering about, maybe, just maybe, Paul, you never know.
Well, a terrific performance tonight, all in all. Our producer, Bill Moore, Rob Wilson with Florida State. Our thanks to him. The hospitality of Duke University, the sports information officer there, Art Chase. Gary Whaley with the numbers tonight, our statistician. Chris Powers up in the booth with us as well, as was Nikki Nichols. For Keith Jones, embarking on his 16th season of Florida State football, I'm Paul Kennedy, and we'll see you at Doak and right here on Sunshine Network.
To your kids, it's a laboratory, a museum, or a rainforest. The compact Presario 5000T with Intel Pentium 3 processor. It's a place where your child can explore a world of ideas. And it's just $8.39. Call 1-800-332-1780 today and get a free compact printer and $50 instant rebate. Hey, why just take your kids to school when you can take them farther than they ever dreamed?
SunshineNetwork.com is your web source for all your favorite team merchandise. Just log on and go to SunshineNetwork.com to find the Fan Shop, an internet superstore stocked with over 5,000 different products, including team gear from all your favorite Florida teams and more. One click of a mouse and voila, you've sent the perfect gift to the doorstep of your favorite fan. This season, get in the spirit and go get them. Team gear merchandise at SunshineNetwork.com, powered by Football Fanatics.
Sunshine Network has all your college football action. Great plays, fantastic finishes, touchdown! Gators, Knights, Noles, and introducing those big, bad, burly Owls from FAU and Coach Howard Schnellenberger. The best teams from the ACC, SEC, MEAC, and more. The quest for the national championship. One place, Sunshine Network.
Catch all the action, all season on Sunshine.
Can you say pigskin? It's time to get down and dirty with the Dodge Florida High School Champion Series. Tampa Plant at Tampa Hillsboro, Friday at 7 p.m. on Sunshine.
Sunshine Network has all your college football action. Great plays, fantastic finishes, touchdown! Gators, Knights, Noles, and introducing those big, bad, burly Owls from FAU and Coach Howard Schnellenberger. The best teams from the ACC, SEC, MEAC, and more. The quest for the national championship. One place, Sunshine Network.
Catch all the action, all season on Sunshine.
From the 34, play action fake. Ricks eludes a sack. Throws the ball downfield. Intended for football. Touchdown FSU. You go through.
The Bobby Bowden Show is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Coca-Cola, the preferred soft drink of the Florida State Seminoles. Coca-Cola. Enjoy. By Tico. Save energy and save money with conservation programs from Tico People's Gas. By the Florida State MasterCard, the card that supports Florida State University. By Capital Eurocars. Discover the difference at Capital Eurocars. By Alltel, the power to simplify. By Discount Auto Parts, a proud sponsor of the Florida State Seminoles. And by the Sunshine Network, first in Florida sports.
Well, the start of a brand new college football season. Florida State goes up to Durham, North Carolina. And, Coach, congratulations. A very young football team playing on the road, wet playing conditions, and take care of business and beat Duke pretty good.
I'll tell you, that's exactly what we needed. That what from a technical standpoint, a basic standpoint, it wasn't pretty, but it was good. I mean, it was a good win. It looks good. I mean, the things that happened that had to happen. You know, we went into that game knowing so little about ourselves, you know. Freshman quarterback, freshman receivers, freshman kicker, freshman holder, freshman this and that. And the kids did real well, and I think we can build from there.
Highlights of FSU's one over Duke coming up. A great moment with Burt Reynolds along the way as we reflect on 3 bids at a national championship. All part of our show today. Come on along and join us for the Bobby Bowden Show. We'll be right back.
Yo, what's the deal on the Ricky Bill? Just left the crib so steady, ready for the field dash. Off the top, get it grip, it's on the pop, a flick of the wrist, spin twist. Irresistible, gotta hit you with the most flavorful. I'll drink to that wherever you're at. It's understood, no doubt, in my mind that life tastes good.
Hi, this is Bobby Bowden. Grab a refreshing Coca-Cola, and let's make this year FSU's best football season ever. With FSU and Coca-Cola, life tastes good.
Finding your way in the wireless world can be confusing. Choosing the wrong company or the wrong plan can lead to unexpected charges and useless features. But finding the right path is easy with Alltel.
For $14.95 a month, you get no roaming or long distance charges. And ask about free night and weekend.